Live from Chatterbox Sports Studios, it's Off the Bench with Tom Brenneman.
Well, good morning. A pleasant, good Thursday morning. It was a sunny morning here in Hamilton, Ohio, a little while ago. Some clouds rolling in, but a nice day nonetheless. And we welcome you, as always, to Off the Bench, presented by our friends at United Dairy Farmers from our Chatterbox Studios in Hamilton, Ohio. Welcome aboard. Gentlemen, good morning. Casey, Paul, Elliot, Jacob, everybody all right?
Great.
Great.
Yeah.
Fantastic, Tom.
Did I go down to the game yesterday or no?
No. Had to be here, unfortunately.
We watched it here.
Fortunately.
And Casey, you made it with your bride to FC Cincinnati.
Yes, I did. It was a great experience. It was a very fun time. Packed out stadium. They just mollywopped everyone. And, yeah, she's a trooper, man.
Gamer. Call her a gamer. Member of the NCN, without a doubt.
Absolutely. She's just out there, 1 foot, jumping upstairs, getting to the very top of the stadium. Gamer. That's right.
So when is the MRI? Today?
The MRI is today.
All right. Well, we're thinking about her. Please let her know. All right?
I will.
We come your way Monday through Friday, 10
A.
to 12.
P.
That's right. That's Eastern time. Many of you already joining us on YouTube. You can dial up the Chatterbox Sports page on YouTube, and there we are each and every day. If you'd rather join us in podcast form, just search Off the Bench with Tom Brenneman, and you're dialed in. Gasoline was 28 cents per gallon. A dozen eggs, not in the Joe Biden years, cost 28 cents per dozen. American Bandstand, for those of you old enough to remember Dick Clark, made its television debut. The average cost of a new home was $12,000. All of those things were true in the year of our Lord 1957. But why are we talking about that? That was the last time the Cincinnati Reds won 11 games in a row. No, not during the days of the Big Red Machine. Never hit 11 in a row. 1957. Well, you can change that tune now as the 2023 version of the Reds match that win streak after a 5-3 win yesterday over Colorado at GABP. Jake Fraley launches a missile to the seats in right for a 2-run home run to break a tie in the 8th. Andrew Abbott finally allowed a run in his 4th major league start, but he was sensational. 6 innings, allowed 3 runs, all on solo home runs. He struck out a career-high 10 batters. It is the 5th longest winning streak in franchise history. Think about this for a minute. 1899, that's right, 1899, 1890, 1957, and 1939. Only those teams had longer winning streaks than the Reds. The overall record, if you're wondering, 14 straight. To reach that number would mean a 4th straight series sweep this weekend after an off day today, and that is a tall order. Guess who's coming to town? The best team in the National League, the Atlanta Braves, and they are rolling like the Reds. They've won 7 straight. The series begins tomorrow night at 6:40. I guess there's some big concert again tomorrow night. Is that right? Or a giveaway? Or
Yeah, Quinn 92 is going to be there.
Oh, that's right. I meant to look that dude up.
Yeah, I'll be there. Lizzie and I are going to go down there and a few other people. Yeah.
The win yesterday, coupled with a Milwaukee loss to the Diamondbacks, they are 15 games over 500. But I regress. With Milwaukee's loss and the Reds' win, Cincinnati now a game and a half in front in the National League Central. By the way, Reed Mouse and his Cubbies, they win again. 12 of their last 15, they're still 3.5 back. College baseball, second-ranked Florida scores in the bottom of the 8th inning and knocks off TCU. Top of the 9th inning they scored, 3-2 the final. The Gators advance to the best-of-3 title round. Who will they face? That will be determined later tonight. Winner-take-all showdown. 2 of the top teams in the country. Number 1, Wake against 5th-ranked LSU. The Tigers stayed alive by beating the Demon Deacons 5-2 yesterday. Talked about FC Cincinnati. Now, you talk about a team on a winning streak. They have not lost since April the 15th in St. Louis. FCC hammers Toronto last night in front of the McAllisters and about 17,000 others, 3-0. The club has the best record in the MLS, 13-1-4. They're undefeated at home. Quick turnaround for their next game. They play tomorrow night in the nation's capital. Now, Paul, you would know a lot about this huge news in the NBA. Many are calling it one of the biggest blockbuster trades in the history of the league. You buying that?
I don't know if it's in the history of the league, but it does at least have the name cachet. Kristaps isn't exactly what he was a few years ago. But, yes, I mean, this is a pretty massive deal for these teams that are involved in it.
And we're talking about the Celtics, the Wizards, and the Grizzlies, a 3-team trade. Porzingis to the Celtics. Marcus Smart goes to the Grizzlies. Tyus Jones to Washington. The deal includes a lot of other players, draft picks this year, and first-round picks for next year. 3-time All-Star Chris Middleton declined his $40 million player option with the Milwaukee Bucks yesterday. That means he becomes a free agent. All right, lots to talk about here today. Hundreds, if not thousands, already watching. Hundreds, if not thousands, already in the chat. Braves coming to town tomorrow night. We'll talk a lot more about the Reds. I'm really excited today to have Bob Trumpy join us. You know, he's one of the guys right now that's up for the Bengals Ring of Honor, where I think season ticket holders and suite holders, you being one of them, Jacob, got a chance to vote. Did you vote for Bob Trumpy?
Absolutely. You got one of my 2 votes for sure. You said it earlier. You can't argue about a lot of positions in Bengals history. You can't argue about who the best tight end is.
You're right. I was amazed because, like a lot of you, when I first met Bob Trumpy, he was doing sports talk at 700 WLW, and he is still the best sports talk show host, radio sports talk show host that I've ever heard. He was unbelievable. And, he was doing all the stuff on NBC. He was a number 1 team for NBC Sports. His partner was Dick Enberg, did a number of Super Bowls. He was doing golf. He was doing the Olympics, all this stuff for NBC. So, I mean, he was Bob Trumpy, the announcer. You knew he played for the Bengals. But when you start digging into some of his stats and his playing career, Rodney Holman, I think, had a few more receptions, not many. But Trumpy is the all-time record holder in Bengals history for a tight end. Receiving yards, touchdowns, averaged over 15 yards per reception in his career. That's the best all-time for the Bengals as well. So we're going to talk with him about his playing career. Sam Weish was his first quarterback, along with John Stofa, if you can believe that or not. Trumpy was in that expansion draft when the Bengals started in 1968 when they played in the NFL before the merger. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about his playing career. We'll talk about the current Bengals and possibility of going into the Ring of Honor. But first things first, the Redlegs. Paul, your assessment of the state of the Redlegs.
11 in a row. So yesterday, if you were listening, I had a parlay of Ellie De La Cruz to get a hit, Reds to win by 2 or more, Andrew Abbott over 6 strikeouts or 6+ strikeouts, whatever it was. He crushed that. And then over 8.5 in the game. I was sitting in the doctor's office listening to the game on the radio, and Ellie De La Cruz got a hit. That was the last thing I saw or heard. Jake Fraley was coming to the plate, and I said, there is no doubt in my mind Ellie De La Cruz is about to get driven in, and the Reds are going to win by a run. Did not realize then when I came out of the office it was 5-3, and I said, oh, Ellie De La Cruz got a hit. Andrew Abbott, career high 9 strikeouts. Reds cover the 1.5, but they went under the 8.5. It was a great win, though, for the Reds. Again, it was a game where they keep finding ways to win even when they don't play their best. I don't know if you guys would agree with this because I'd have to go back and look. I don't know for sure if I'd be backed up by stats on this. But it felt like this was their worst game of the winning streak, and they still found – no, the Sunday Astros game. The Sunday Astros game. They still found a way to win.
I was going to say, what was wrong with yesterday? They fell behind. The kid allowed 3 solo home runs. I mean, it's going to happen.
It just felt like weird. I mean, they were hitting the ball hard, and it felt like eventually they were going to break through and score some runs. But at the same time, we were sitting here in the office watching it. Tom, one question I'd have for you, I don't know if you saw this. I think it was in the third inning maybe. Ellie was in a 3-0 count, the runner on first, and he grounded into a double play. You like him swinging at a pitch like that when he gets a fastball down the middle in a 3-0 count?
Absolutely, without a doubt. Now, what's interesting is about 3-0 counts is when you talk, and I had a chance to ask a lot of players this very specific question about swinging 3-0. Now, look, there are some of the old school baseball rules where if your team has a big lead and all this kind of stuff, you don't swing 3-0. But more and more and more and more, we're seeing guys swing 3-0. But there are a lot of guys that don't like swinging 3-0. I remember talking to Robin Yount, one of the best all-around players in the history of the game. Hall of Famer, over 3,000 hits, went from shortstop to center field. He was an MVP in the American League at each position during his career. Phenomenal athlete. But there are just some guys, and now they'll take a look down, or they used to. I don't know how much they do anymore. They take a look down at the third base coach because in certain situations, if the bases are loaded, it's 3-0, and a guy's having a hard time throwing strikes, you might get the take side. So that can happen. But 3-0, you're looking dead red, absolutely. And sometimes you're just going to hit it hard at somebody double play.
But even in the situation where I forget who it was, who the pitcher was yesterday, but he had thrown, I don't know, seven of his last 9 pitches or something were outside the zone. Still like him swinging in that situation?
For him, yes. There would be some other players I would answer that question. No, I don't.
Okay.
But for him, yes. I have no problem. Do you have a problem with it?
No, not necessarily. I think when you get a pitch like that, a fastball, and you see the K zone and how just piped down the middle it is, I know you want him to take a walk, but then you also have a runner in front of him, so it's not like he's automatically going to steal. It's not like he's just going to Ellie his way over to third base, which is a little bit of a different situation, I think, when he gets on. Maybe that's what I'm sitting there thinking as I watch it.
I get it.
It's a different situation if first base is open, whereas with somebody on and you have somebody in front of you and you just have to be patient on the base paths, maybe it's a little different. You go ahead and swing away.
Nick Kirby chimes in. It's one of the reasons, many reasons, we love Nick Kirby, who, of course, hosts a show with Trace after the Reds games. They've been doing a lot of celebrating on there. Mm-hmm. Nick says, and I'm assuming when he says this, he's referring to the Reds batters. Maybe he's talking about baseball overall. Batters have a .355 batting average with an .847 slugging percentage, swinging 3-0 this year. Now, again, those numbers tell you a lot of great information, but there are situations where, for me, Ellie De La Cruz, Steer, Votto, India, McLean, I'm 3-0, letting him go. Friedel, again, depending on the situation. I might ask him to take a pitch because you're going to get the same pitch. When guys are having a hard time with their command, you get to 3-0, there's a real good chance, and this is the argument that batters who don't like swinging 3-0, this is what they will tell you. They'll say, you're going to get the same pitch 3-1 that you got 3-0. It's going to be a fastball. But, some cases you just don't know. It might be a better located fastball. You might take the 3-0 right down the can, but the 3-1 paints the outside corner knee high, and you're not looking in that spot. Now you're at 3-2, and, here we go, changes the whole complexion of the at-bat. But I got to tell you, Andrew Abbott, shifting gears a little bit. As you know, since 1893, I think it is, he became the first pitcher in his first 3 major league starts to not allow a single run. I'm not so sure. Now, don't get me wrong. I trade 3 for 0 all day, every day. Because if the other team doesn't score, they can't beat you, right? Duh. But I got to tell you, the young man I thought was uber impressive yesterday. First batter of the game hits a home run. Okay, so you take that off the board. Now he's given up a run in his life in the big leagues. They get another solo home run. They get another solo home run. But he just keeps going, right? Just keeps on rolling. And before you know it, he struck out 10. He's allowed 3 runs, and he gives you 6 innings.
Phenomenal outing from Abbott. I think, and again, with the solo home runs, like, you're pitching so well, and every once in a while you throw a mistake pitch. You're not doing that with runners on. He's been phenomenal. I forget the stat, but with runners on, nobody is hitting him. If there's a runner on base, nobody's getting a hit against Abbott right now. It's been phenomenal to see, and he's right now the best pitcher in our starting rotation. Hunter Green is down, and we're going to need Abbott to continue here.
He allowed 4 hits yesterday. 3 of them were solo home runs.
Yep.
That's not getting beat a whole lot. That's a couple misses here and there, which happens to a young pitcher.
Yep.
And, you know, he can mow down 10 batters and go 6 innings. And he was only at, when we took him out after 6 innings, he was only at, I think it was right around the mid-80s pitch count. So it's not like he was overworking himself like you see.
What was the reason? Because I was bouncing around a lot yesterday. Saw some of it I did not. What was the reason for taking him out of the game?
There was somewhat of a blow-up in this office when Andrew Abbott didn't come out for the 7th inning. We aren't really sure why, and everyone was kind of upset about it. But we ended up getting the win, so that's all that matters.
So they knew going into the game that Alexis Diaz was not going to pitch.
Right.
So if you're David Bell there, and, you know, when I'm driving around, I'll listen to other, political talk shows, sports talk shows, whatever it might be, and I'll kind of bounce around because there's a lot of commercials out there. But, you know, I was listening to somebody yesterday, I can't remember who it was, and a fan called in and was kind of, you know, nitpicking a little bit about David Bell. And the host, or hosts, plural, got really angry. Oh, how in the world can you do David Bell? I mean, the 110 in a row. And I'm thinking to myself, what is wrong with nitpicking? There's nothing wrong with nitpicking. All you're doing is asking a question like we're asking right now. Nobody's beating up David Bell for taking Abbott out of the game. But I think it's a sincere, logical question, right? If you guys were sitting around here going, what the hell's going on? He's at the 80-something pitch mark. He's gone 6 innings. He's allowed 3 solo home runs, and he's out of the game on a team that is lucky to get 4 innings out of a starter on any given night. I don't care if they've won 10 in a row or they're 6-5 in their last 11.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. J.W. Dunbar points out in the chat that 2 of the next 3 guys up had hit a home run off of him today. So I don't know if that played into it. Definitely could have been. I don't know. I would have left him in there. You pitch him over 110 pitches in his debut. You think you have the faith in him to leave him out there after 88. So I was definitely surprised by it. But again, we won the game, so that's all that matters.
Sir Boy Wonder asked if I was listening to Rush Limbaugh. Sir Boy, that might be very hard to do at this point in time.
I would say so, Tom.
I mean, I'm sure the golden microphone is up there in heaven, but it'd be a little hard to get that dialed in on your radio.
Hey, with AI,
driving down 75, 71, right?
With AI now, you never know.
You might be right. So now the Braves come to town. Now this is a whole different animal, okay? These sweeps, or this streak which began, you may remember, they went on their last road trip. It was a 9-game, 3-city trip. They lost the first game of the trip, which was their second loss in a row. That was in St. Louis. They've not lost since. That was 2 weeks ago tomorrow. Right?
Yep.
Okay. So they beat the Cardinals 2 in a row. Cardinals are terrible. They beat Kansas City 3 in a row. Kansas City is worse than St. Louis. Then they beat Houston, a team that is down, but it's Houston, defending world champions on their home turf 3 in a row. You come back home again. You can make the argument, not the argument, the record doesn't lie. You take away the Nationals, the Cardinals, the Royals, and the Rockies are 3 of the 5 worst teams in Major League Baseball, without a doubt. Well, everything changes starting tomorrow night because the Braves have won 7 in a row. They got rained out last night. They will play a day game today in Philadelphia and then come rolling in here with the best record in the league. You know, it's interesting. You look at young players, and the Reds have brought up all these talented players. McClain has been great. De La Cruz has been really good. Steer has been fantastic. But then you look at young players that are a whole different level. Now, the Reds players might get to this level, But when you look at Acuna and when you look at Ozzy Albies, I mean, you're sitting there going, now these guys are players.
Yep.
And they're like 21, 22, 23 years old, and they've already been in the big leagues for 2 years, right?
It's amazing.
Yep, it is. And their pitching rotation, they're all young guys too. They got a guy pitching tomorrow night. What's his name? Jacob? Scheuer.
Yeah, smooth shake.
They're all everything they have is a young guy. And I am kind of scared, but I think our young guys will match them. We have the hotter young guys right now.
The rain out yesterday allowing us to miss Spencer Strider on Sunday is monumental. He's arguably the best pitcher in the league this year. I know he's had a couple struggling outings here lately, but I mean, he started the year on fire. So missing him on Sunday, playing two guys that have under 10 career starts, I think it's a recipe for the Reds to win this series.
Right now, Acuna, I think, would be the MVP of the league. We agree on that?
I agree.
Dude's hitting like 330, right? Hitting bombs, driving in runs. Every day he has 31 stolen bases.
Yep.
Can you imagine that? 31 stolen bases. That's one of the great things about these rule changes. It has brought the run game and the speed game back into the game. And for all the people that wanted to just sit around and watch, and these are all the analytics guys, wanted to sit around and watch walks and home runs and strikeouts, give me the current game. Guys are stealing bases. The Reds are the best example of that. They are defined in many ways, not entirely, but defined in many ways by their aggressive nature on the base pass. And that doesn't always mean stolen bases. It means going first to third. It means scoring from second. It means taking big leads, big secondary leads. We saw 2 days ago, they forced the pitcher into a pair of pickoff attempt throws. He throws them away. Next thing you know, they got guys running all over the bases and scoring runs. That's getting deep in the head of the opposition. All right, Ham and Eggers, you guys take it here for a minute or two. We got Bob Trumpy coming up any minute now. Very excited about this today. I know a lot going on with baseball, and the Reds are hot in FC Cincinnati, but the Bengals aren't too far away from training camp. And Bob Trumpy is up for the Bengals Ring of Honor this year. Ham and Eggers, Mr. President, take it away.
It's that time of the show, the Ham and Eggers. These guys are great, trust me, I would know. I introduce all the best segments.
Hey. All right, let's talk about the Bengals. Hey. Just letting us all focus in here. Talk about the Bengals because we're going to have Bob Trumpy on. And the Bengals Report is brought to you by Encore Technologies. Encore Technologies provides IT solutions for a data-centered world with a suite of services from mobile computing to desktop to data center, supporting both centralized and work-from-home computing models to improve efficiency and productivity. Visit Encore.tech. The path to innovation begins here. Also, Pawnee Water. We're running short on Pawnee Water. The Pawnee Water guys are listening. We need some Pawnee Water. I need to just go buy some Pawnee Water is what I need to do. I need to run by a gas station here in Hamilton. And you don't want to know where you can find some Pawnee Water, you can go to pawneewater.com. It's P-A-H-H-N-I water.com. It is the best tasting water in the world. It uses natural limestone filtration, unlike the artificial processing that many other brands use, and it's made right across the street here in Hamilton. Again, that's Pawnee Water, P-A-H-H-N-I water.com. P-A-H-H-N-I water.com. Bet with Betfred. Get your coffee from UDF. Drink Pawnee Water and get your technology solutions from Encore. Make sure you like the stream. For some reason, I don't know, is this not working for you guys where you can't see the number of likes?
No, we can't see it.
So is that a YouTube update? We're being censored?
I don't know. I think it might be. I think it might be.
Disaster.
It's the worst.
That's a disaster. Absolute disaster. But we can't see how many likes we're getting. It doesn't matter. We're not narcissistic like that. We don't care about the likes.
So now Elliot's just going to eat a cricket after every show.
Oh, yeah. So what do we do?
Yeah, I don't know. There can't be any more punishments for Elliot. So I guess we'll just have to we just like the stream for the sake of liking the stream. No more punishments. Sorry. We all lose. We all lose. Casey, do you want to eat another cricket?
I prefer not to eat another
Okay.
cricket, but I can do it. We can still see what the likes are after the show. Like, they wouldn't know until the next day, but
It's a disaster. It's a disaster.
Yeah.
Certified
This
disaster.
is the world we're living in now.
What a horrible start. What a horrible start to this morning. No likes. No likes on the stream.
Paul, do you have an update for the people on the peanut butter test?
Okay, yeah. So I went in yesterday. More positive than I thought it was going to be.
That's
more
big time.
positive than I thought it was going to be.
That's big time.
But so I couldn't get a skin test. I had to get a blood test. So it's going to be like a month, or not a month. It's going to be like a week in between. I didn't want to get a blood test because they say that it's kind of inaccurate. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
You're holding out some hope.
I'm holding out more hope. I'll be honest. I'm holding out more hope after the test yesterday than I originally thought. Like, it was a much more encouraging visit than I thought.
I mean, that's
But
what
this
you
is
love.
all just pumping myself up to make myself feel better. And you know what? Now that I talked this out,
Do it.
I'm wondering if the letdown is going to be worse. I'm
might
wondering
be.
if, like, after the appointment yesterday where they basically told me I had a chance and the rug's just going to get pulled out from under my feet.
Yeah, that's gonna be brutal.
That's-
I mean, I
rough.
think that's going to be brutal. And that's what I'm worried about because
Because you're just now getting over not being able to eat peanut butter for the last 20 years.
yeah, and so
25
now
years.
he lays this on me yesterday where he goes, well, you've been allergic to it your whole life. Maybe it's going to be okay.
He's building you up just so you can fall
No,
harder.
no, bro. I know it's not. You don't have to make me feel better. Not to just, pull the rug out. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully by this time next week I'll have an answer for you. Well, I know
we're
I
rooting
will.
for you, Paul.
We'll see. He did hit me with the so they tested me for like tree nuts and shellfish too.
Yeah.
And he goes, we're going to test you for so many tree nuts that if you come in and do a food challenge, we're just going to give you this recipe for this nut butter with all the tree nuts included in it. And we'll just knock it all out at one time. I'm going, so if I react to one, so what is that? How do you know which one I react to? Do I have to come back in and do it again? We'll see. I don't know. It's going to be a saga this summer. Got to get it done before football season. We'll see. Be nice to do the peanut thing during baseball season. I doubt it, though. Hopes are low. Hopes are low. Maybe by July 17th. Maybe I'll know by July 17th.
Paul can have a bag of peanuts on the
I'll
boat.
show up. I'll show up to the Chatterbox Reds game Monday, July 17th, out on the boat deck. If you haven't heard, July 17th. Trace rented out the boat deck at Great American Ballpark. We'll get the details to you in a little bit. July 17th, the Reds. I'll show up. Everybody can buy a bag of peanuts. We can all share in some peanuts. Actually, you know what? It's a boat deck. They probably just have the free peanuts out there. Even better. Well,
Love
or
it.
worse, depending on how the test
I love
results.
it. I love it.
All right. That's way too long on my food allergy. Anything more on the Reds? Anything more from you guys on yesterday? Anything?
I'm amazed how you guys, plural, are like Red's going to wear out Atlanta this week.
Oh, we're winning this series.
I love our chances.
Yeah. They played well in Atlanta last year.
Bryce Elder and Spencer Strider, their two best pitchers, arguably, are not pitching against us. I love our chances.
If you don't love our chances now, when do you love our
Charlie
chances?
Morton, why are people accusing you of being a closet Braves fan? You're not a Braves fan.
Because the chat earlier is saying the Braves are garbage, and I'm saying the Braves are not garbage. So
whoever
I'm
would
a
say
Braves fan.
the Braves are garbage should really start reading a little bit.
It's Sir Boy Wonder. He's saying I don't buy the hype because I'm saying the Braves are a good baseball team.
Tom, can I give you some Braves stats real quick?
Please do.
So runs scored, MLB, the Braves are third. Home runs, the Braves are first. They've hit 128 home runs. We've hit, by the way, 69. So they've hit 128.
Almost double.
Nice.
Almost double. On base percentage, the Braves rank second. They have a 339 OBP. Slugging, they rank first, 479. ERA, they're fourth at a 374. Home runs allowed, ninth. They've only allowed 77 home runs. And whip, they're 13th with a 1.28. That's a pretty good team there.
Yeah, I would say so.
That's a pretty good team there.
That's a real good team. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to come in here and play great. I mean, the Dodgers were a good team that came rolling into town, right? And I mean, the Reds beat them 2 out of 3. The only loss was against Clayton Kershaw, and as you guys mentioned, the best pitcher the Reds are going to see, at least over the long haul. The first 2 guys in the series have not pitched a lot in the major leagues. One guy has, 7 or 8 starts. The other guy has right around the same number. And then you get the veteran who the Reds have seen a lot through the years, going back to his days with the Pirates. He's bounced around, a lot since then, is Charlie Morton. He is scheduled to pitch the game on Sunday. And look, all of that is subject to change. I don't know what the weather's supposed to be like today in Philadelphia, because they got rained out last night, and they're playing again today, a 1 o'clock game, to wrap up that series before the Braves come into town. We're going to have, by the way, Dave O'Brien tomorrow from The Athletic, long-time baseball beat writer. Spent a number of years in Miami, and then the last number of years, well over a decade, as a beat writer covering the Atlanta Braves. So are we good with Trump?
Yes, we are.
Let me introduce him, Paul. Let's get to the Bob Trumpy introduction if we can before we bring him in. We're so grateful for his time. Robert Theodore Trumpy Jr., born in March of 1945 in Tremont, Illinois. Grew up in Springfield. Was a big star in football, basketball, and track. In fact, he played in 4 different state championships in high school, 2 in basketball, and in 1963, now think about this for a second, okay? We think about these athletes, but then when you get to tight ends, a lot of great athletes, but you think these big, huge, strong guys, and Trumpy was that. In 63, in the state of Illinois, he won the state long jump championship, finished 5th in the state in the high jump. So from there, it was off to the University of Illinois in Champaign. You couldn't play as a freshman back in those days. So his first year playing, they play him at wide receiver. Catches 28 passes, 500 yards. Decides, though, to transfer to the University of Utah. We're going to find out why here in a minute. They moved him to tight end. You had to sit out a year after you transfer. He catches 9 passes his only year at Utah in 1 year. He was then drafted into the United States Navy after graduation. Spent 180 days in the Navy during the Vietnam War. In 1968, he's discharged. He goes back home, starts his career as a salesman. Then he finds out he's drafted by something called the Cincinnati Bengals in the 12th round of the common draft. He instantly becomes a starter and a star under head coach Paul Brown. Caught 37 passes for over 600 yards, was an all-star in the AFL, voted all-league tight end the following year. Then in 1970, you get the merger with the NFL. And Trumpy was arguably the best tight end in football. 35 receptions, almost 900 yards, a franchise record 23 yards per catch. 23 as a tight end. He wound up playing until 1977, was a 2-time All-Star, 2-time Pro Bowler. He finished with 298 career receptions, 4,600 yards, 35 touchdowns. His yards, touchdowns, and 15 yards per catch average for his career are the best ever by a Cincinnati Bengals tight end. His broadcasting career was among the greatest of all time, a career that would earn him the Pete Rozelle Award in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So, Bob Trumpy, with that introduction, he's made his home here in Cincinnati ever since he came here back in the late 1960s. Trump, how are you, young man? Great to have you with us today.
That was a quick recap of 55 years, TB.
Well, you've had quite a run over 55 years, Trump. I mean, really, it's amazing what you have done. You know, it's one thing. I know Paul Brown used to talk about, you know, your second career, which turns into really your life. But for a lot of guys to go to from being great in one thing and then to become great in another, what a blessing.
Yeah, well, when you look back on it, as when you get to my age, you do that a lot in a lot of situations. There's always somebody behind you that seems to help Uh, and in my case, uh, the first person I thank is my wife for sticking with me. We were married in 1966. We're coming up on 57 years married. Two, for the NFL, I have to credit a gentleman named Zeke Bratkowski. Recognize the name, Tommy?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't.
Okay, I'll get back to him.
I'm sorry I don't. Please tell me about him.
I'll get back to him, but that's my football career. My broadcasting career, I have to give a tip of the cap to one Ken Fouts. Your dad and I's good buddy, and you know him. He was the #1 sports director for NBC at the time, worked with Mike Weissman. Now, I was drafted, and I wasn't a salesman when I was drafted, Tommy. I was collecting bills for beneficial finance in Los Angeles. That's the best job I could find out of the Navy. By the way, I was in the Navy, and I never set foot on the water other than being on Treasure Island, stationed there in the middle of San Francisco Bay. Mm-hmm. Now, I get out, go back to Los Angeles. I get this job collecting bills, get a call one day from my wife. I've been drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals. I said, I think that's the Bengals, dear. She said, oh, whatever. But does that mean we have to go to Cincinnati? Yes, that means we have to go to Cincinnati. So I'm collecting bills in Los Angeles, and I figure I got to get a construction job of some sort to get me in shape. I mean, I had done nothing athletically for the previous, 9 months. I drive by a junior college in Southern California, which back then they had a bunch of junior college. It was San Fernando Valley State Teachers College. And I see several guys, they don't look like kids. They look comparable age to me, working out on this football field. And I drive by it, and the next day I stop and think, well, I got to find out what's going on here. They might be able to help me. As I walk up to the group, I see on the ground a great big bag, and on the side of it is a Green Bay Packers emblem. And the guy running the practices was Zeke Bratkowski. Zeke Bratkowski was Bart Starr's backup during the Lombardi era of the Green Bay Packers. So I introduced myself, and he said, what position you play? I've just drafted by the Bengals for tight end. He said, great. I have only one other receiver here. The rest of these guys are running backs. And there was a quarterback there. I think his name was Bruce Lemmerman. And he was drafted by the Atlanta Falcons. So I said, look, can I join the group? And he said, sure, absolutely. He said, what time do you get off work? I said, 3. And I said, I'll be here as quick as I possibly can after I get off work tomorrow. I get there about 3:20, and they had already started practice. 2 days later, they moved practice back to 4 o'clock so I could be a part of it because I could catch the ball. We started the practice. Each practice was Zeke Bratkowski with 75 up downs. That's how Lombardi got his team in shape. So I was in the best shape of my life, I think. The draft was in March. We worked out 6 days a week from March until about the middle of June. And they weren't extensive workouts, probably an hour and 15 minutes. Just I was running Green Bay Packers patterns. So at the end of that, in June, Zeke says, I got to go to Green Bay. And I said, well, I'm supposed to show up in Cincinnati July 2nd. And he said, I want to tell you something. I'm going to tell our scouts that if your name ever comes up on the waiver wire, get him up here in Green Bay. He said, "You can start for our football team." I said, "What did you say?" He said, "I'm telling you, with your athletic ability, you can start for the Green Bay Packers. I'd love to throw you the ball." Psychologically, no one's ever told me that, ever put me in that spot. And I credit Zeke Bratkowski with one, physically getting in shape. Two, psychologically, putting me in a different area than I have to think anybody who was drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals in 1968. And he didn't tell me what to do, what not to do. He said, just keep doing what you're doing. And I sincerely believe without that little comment from him about making the Green Bay Packers, the world champion Green Bay Packers, that I could start for him. And here I am, the 12th round draft choice. I don't know, number 300. It was absolutely amazing, Tommy. And looking back on it, yeah, I could do a lot of things, but that psychological shot that he gave me was huge to my career. And I'm sure how much your dad helped you. I tried to help you.
Yes.
A lot of people tried to help, and we should always be thankful for the help that they gave me. And my wife followed me to Cincinnati, so
turned out to be a pretty good deal because you've never left since then. I'm curious, when you were playing in college and you initially went to Illinois, and I mentioned you transferred to Utah. I went back and looked at.
Wait a minute. I was asked to leave Illinois.
Okay, all right. Why were you asked to leave Illinois?
I had hand surgery from a football injury. I had an infection in my hand. My elbow had set in my hand, and they lanced it through the middle of my hand to get the inflammation and infection out. And I was in the local hospital there for probably maybe 8 days. I don't remember exactly how long it was. But in that time, I didn't finish the season. In that time, they fired all the football coaches, the basketball coaches, because an assistant athletic director turned in a sludge fund books for paying some of the basketball players and football players on the University of Illinois' team. Well, when I get out of the hospital, I've now missed 6 weeks of 2 weeks of class, and I'm left-handed, and my hand was kind of frozen like that because it was wet for 5 straight days, and then they drew away the towels, and everything was just kind of cramped up like that. I could barely write. There was no one to go in the coach's office to say, help me. Can I get a medical incomplete? Can I get some help? There was nobody there. So I flunked out of Illinois. And that's how I got to Utah. I didn't transfer.
Okay.
Let's be honest about everything.
Okay.
But continue
No,
your line.
I'm curious because I like to try. We have a lot of younger people that watch the show, and I like to try and put things into context for what things were like, whether they be in society or whether they be in this particular case in the sport of football. I think your quarterback was a guy named Frank Castardo. I don't know if I pronounced his name right there or not. Okay, back in '64. That team you played for, Illinois, completed for the season 86 passes, barely attempting 150 pass attempts on the year. My, oh, my. I mean, that's a different world from the one we live in now, right?
Yeah, absolutely agreed, and that's the way just about everybody played. But on that team, his name was Fred Castardo, and by the way, his mother was a wonderful cook. He lived in some suburb of Chicago, and Fred would have us up there and his mother would make a homemade Italian meal. But on that team was a guy named Dick Butkus,
Yep.
middle linebacker and short yardage center, and Jim Grabowski, our fullback. And Grabowski broke several Big Ten rushing records. There was no reason for us to throw the ball. And remember, Illinois had gone to and won the Rose Bowl the year before. We could not repeat, even if we won the conference. We could not go back to the Rose Bowl the next year. That was my sophomore year. So yes, we did not throw the ball a lot. We had a very big offensive line, and we had Butkus, and we had Grabowski, and we used them on almost every snap. Wouldn't you?
Yes, I would. When you go through playing at Utah for a year, you talked about already what you were doing at that point in Southern California, now the Bengals. Were you following the sport enough to know who Paul Brown was?
Oh, sure. I knew who Paul Brown was.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And your first time you met him was where?
Let's see. I got there July 2nd, 1968. July 3rd. The morning of July 3rd, for the entire Cincinnati Bengal organization, started with a 3-hour talk from Paul Brown. And that's the first time I saw him. And I was sitting in a room with, I can't guess the number, but in excess of 100 athletes in that room. We were packed right next to each other, and kind of had a separated offense to defense. And in the row I was in, I was way in the back. We had assigned seats. I was way in the back. And in the row that I was sitting, I counted 23 guys that were either going to be a tight end or a receiver on the football team. So the room was crowded. But the first time I saw him, he's little and he's old. This is Paul Brown, the Hall of Fame football coach? What? Wait a minute. He's going to lead us to the promised land? And that 3-hour meeting extended that evening to another 3 hours. So we got 6 hours of the world according to Paul Brown on our first day. This is the way we're going to do things. I'm going to tell you what to do. You got to do it to make this football team. He went on and on and on and on. And so that was my first meeting.
You have a great rookie year. Your quarterbacks that year, 2 of the 3 anyway, John Stofa and Sam Weish, who, of course, later became head coach and led the Bengals to a Super Bowl berth. And, you look at that first year of a franchise. And I mean, I can't speak to this because I wasn't a player, but I was around for the first year of a franchise in baseball out in Arizona. There is something just so extraordinarily unique about being the first. What do you recall most, or what did you enjoy the most, or what stood out the most of being on the very first team of the Cincinnati Bengals in '68?
Yeah, my biggest memories are I had 6 roommates the first training camp. All the rookies were on the 3rd floor. Nobody knew anybody. I knew one guy, and that's the guy that I rode the bus with from Cincinnati Airport to Wilmington College. He's the only guy I knew, the black defensive tackle from some small black school in the South. And when I checked in, I was told to go to room number such and such and get my room key. Did. Went up to my room, opened the door, and the light from the hallway woke the guy up lying in the bed. And I don't know, it was 9:30, something like that at night. And he kind of sits up and he says, "I'm Wally Scott." I said, "Bob Trumpy." We're roommates. Well, I'm going to hit the sack here. You do what you want. We'll talk in the morning. Did. I went in and showered, came back, went to bed, get up the next morning. Wally Scott is no longer in the room. Clothes are still there, but he's no longer in the room. So he was having breakfast. I go over and I have breakfast, read the newspaper, see if my arrival was announced on the front page. It was not. I go back to my room. It's empty. I look in the closet. There's no clothes. Other than the wrinkles on the sheets of the bed, I thought I was in the wrong room. He was cut after breakfast. That was Wally Scott. I had 5 more roommates, and for the life of me, I can't remember what their names were, any of them. But my point is, the sheer volume of athletes coming in on a daily basis, it was astounding. You never knew who you were going to line up next to. You never knew who you were going to have lunch with. I mean, the number of people given the opportunity to make that football team in 1968 still boggles my mind. And some guys were there for, they'd bring them in for lunch, run the 40, they'd be gone before dinner. And that continued, that cycle continued for 2 months. I mean, we worked out twice a day, very hard, but very short time. Paul Brown's practices were an hour and 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. And if you couldn't get it done in an hour and 15 minutes, you can't get it done. And so at least you knew that in an hour and 15 minutes, this misery is going to be over. It was hot. It was humid. You were trying to beat the crap out of the guy across from you to make an impression on somebody. But I also remember I did not, in that first training camp, I didn't have a scratch, a bruise, a pulled muscle, a laceration, nothing. I don't know how to account for that, because in training camp you always get these nagging little things just because of the constant contact. Survived it all, and but in 1968, preparing for the season, just the number of people that came in and out of there. Our first game was a preseason game against the Pittsburgh Steelers in Morgantown, West Virginia. We had 5 busloads of players, drove to Morgantown. We win the game. On the way back, we go to get on the buses, and they hand us a box of Colonel Sanders chicken. And some of the veterans that we got in the Veterans Allocation Draft were very upset. This is the way the AFL, the Cincinnati Bengals, is going to function. Bus rides to Morgantown, West Virginia, boxed chicken on the way home. I didn't care. Didn't bother me. I mean, this was all new to me. Yeah, I'll eat the chicken, the biscuit, the French fries, whatever. So we didn't know what was going to happen. Nobody did. And Tommy, again, I didn't know anybody. Yeah, I eventually made a great relationship with Sam Weiss and John Stopa, but it was remarkable. And when it's happening, you don't pay attention to what is happening. But when you reflect back on what happened, you're like, my God.
Now, I got to ask you, because you go through that first year. You have a great year. Tell me if this is true. I've been digging around to try to find out to this answer when you had agreed to come on. I've heard people say this, but I don't know if it's true. I've heard people say that you were the first tight end in professional football that did not line up next to the tackle, that you would be offset from. Is that true?
That is absolutely true, and you can't credit me for anything. This was Bill Walsh's idea. Back then, they did not have coordinators. Bill Walsh was the quarterback and receivers coach. And I wasn't your typical tight end in a lot of ways, one of which was I didn't weigh 250 pounds. I think when I got to camp, I weighed about 212. At 6'6", 212. I carried a 10-pound weight with me underneath the towel, so it appeared I was 222. So most of the tight ends in professional football at that time were extra tackles. Walsh could see what I could do, and we experimented with where I could or couldn't line up. They had to call the league office to find out what the rules and regulations were, and it blew up defenses all over the league in the next 2 or 3 years, especially when in 1969 we got Greg Cook. He was a mad bomber. But yes, I was the first one to move around, and I was the first one to move around because I could do what Bill Walsh envisioned me doing. Isolate the safety on me, and I could beat most safeties in the league at that time, one-on-one. So, and we took advantage of it, and that's why you have those outlandish yards per catch numbers for a tight end back then. Very unusual. Not so unusual now, but very unusual back then.
Yeah. You brought up the name Greg Cook. And again, this is another area because I knew Greg Cook. I didn't know him like you knew him. I knew him well past what had happened in his football life. Due to a common friend, Eddie Shepard from up in Mount Adams, very close.
Where did you find him when you met him? Where did you find him?
Well, Eddie Shepard, a lot like you and John Stofa and Sam Weish, was another guy in Greg Cook's life who was trying to help him, especially when it came to a lot of his artwork and things like that, and trying to get him to do more of his painting. And, his whole story you could spend 2 days talking about. He was the guy at UC. 1969 now, he's the first pick for the Bengals. There are people, Trump, you played with him. You lined up with him in training camp when he shows up. You played with him his first couple of years in a league before he gets hurt. You refer to him as the Mad Bomber. You've seen a lot of quarterbacks. You played with a lot of great quarterbacks. You announced a lot of great quarterbacks. You watch them all now. There are some who will tell you that were around back in those days that Cook could have been among the greatest of all time had he not gotten hurt.
Yeah, physically, I agree with you. But the part that was the saddest, yes, he was an absolute magician with the football. Fearless. He would throw you open. And back in 1969, that was unheard of. But Tom, you and I have had this discussion hundreds of times, and you always ask the same question: could he have been the greatest? All I know, and I tried to help him as best I can, just like our friend Eddie Shepard did and does. Mentally, I don't know how Greg would have handled all the success. I honestly don't. I don't know if the injury created his problems. I have no idea. He had 2 shoulder surgeries, career over, father run over in Chillicothe, Ohio. Wife divorced him in about 18 months. That's a whole bunch for anybody to handle. And then I distinctly remember in 1970, after he had 2 shoulder surgeries, we're in training camp. We all have our fingers crossed that Greg is going to be back to where he was. And I don't know what happened, but we're at practice one morning, and he's just kind of warming up, and he throws a ball out to the sideline to Chip Myers, who was on the team at that time, and the ball sailed 30 yards over Chip's head. Greg grabbed his face mask, ripped his helmet off, threw it down, walked in, never saw him in a uniform again. He knew he had torn something else in his shoulder. Physically unparalleled in all the years that I played and witnessed football. He scared defenses to death. We took advantage of it. You mentioned his first year, 1969. We had our three starting receivers, which was Myers, Eric Crabtree, and me at tight end. All three averaged over 20 yards a catch. Unheard of.
Yep.
Unheard of at that in that
Well, that's
era.
unheard of. That's unheard
NFL.
of now. You don't see that on
Yeah,
any
well,
team now. You might have
agreed.
one guy on the team, maybe one at 20, maybe.
Yeah, we couldn't wait to get on the field with Greg Cook as a quarterback, and he only played 11 games. We only won 3 of them, and still we had those numbers, those passing numbers. But one of the great tragedies of the NFL, and as you well know, kept constant contact with him for years and years and years and years and years, and took him to surgeries, took him to hospitals, took him to doctors. Carmen De Leon, you recognize that name?
Of course I do, of course.
Sure. Concert master under a console for the Cincinnati Symphony, tried to help Greg. Everybody knew Greg. He wouldn't he wouldn't allow me to see where he lived. And I used to pick him up and I'd drop him off at the McDonald's on Mitchell Avenue. And I said, what is this? You don't want me to know where you live. And finally, I picked him up one day, and he had to go somewhere, and I said, we're not going anywhere until I see where you live. So he takes me where he lives, and it's the second floor of this place that down off Mitchell Avenue, and they make this company made color for Procter & Gamble. They produced color that Procter & Gamble would put on packaging. He lived on the second floor, and this company, they made blue coloring for Procter & Gamble, and everything in the little apartment was had a shade of blue on it. And it was just an absolute frickin' mess. But displayed up there was some of his artwork, and it was absolutely mesmerizing to look at his artwork. So he was very good at something. But Tommy, his life just careened out of control, and to find him, it was like a feral cat, running around downtown Cincinnati. This bar, Sam Weitz and I went down one day, and I said, I don't know where he is, but this is where I go to find him. Sam was living out of town. Went to one bar, Sam paid a $30 bar bill. Went to another one, I paid a $20 bar bill. Went to another one, there's Greg Cook. And so we had lunch and bought his lunch. And it was just terrible. But what an athlete.
Yeah, it's one of the great tragedy stories. And look, there are tragedy stories every day. But his was just, it was so painful for those who knew him well, like you and Sam and John Stofa and Bob Johnson, and others. It was just, it was brutal. Yeah. Kenny Anderson comes in now after it's not going to work out with Greg due to injuries. He walks in the door, and tiny little Augustana, right? Not all that far from where you grew up. And you look at him, and I mean, look, in today's day and age, he wouldn't be one of those guys you're looking at the big draft board if they're blowing it up because he's from a small school. When you first see him, you think what?
Well, Bill Walsh told me I was working at Pogues in downtown Cincinnati. We all had off-season jobs. None of us made enough money to just live on what we made in the NFL. I was working at Pogues. So I would occasionally go down, not to work out, I would occasionally go down to Spinney Field, and Walsh pulls me aside and he says, "We got our quarterback." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "This kid from Augustana." I said, "What do you like about him?" He said, "I'm building a quarterback." I said, "Are you serious? Is that what you're telling me?" He said, "Yep. I'm building a quarterback. It's my first chance. I'm building a quarterback." And I've told that to Anderson 1,000 times. I saw Bill Walsh build you, son. You understand? uh, and Anderson's response is, "Yep. For the first 2.5 weeks, I didn't throw the ball. I would take the snap and go 1, 2, 3 back steps, set, throw." For 2.5 weeks, he did that before he threw to anybody. And Walsh said, "This kid's got everything that we want. He's extremely intelligent. He's very likable. He has legs like an offensive guard, a shoulder like you wouldn't believe. I like everything about this kid, and I'm building a quarterback." So I can't wait to come across Ken Anderson. And Virgil Carter was the starter, and he continued to start. Anderson didn't take over right away. I guess just a veteran versus a rookie. But he was clearly the more accurate thrower and considerably taller than Virgil Carter. And I think Virgil got hurt, and then Anderson, I think, came in when we were playing Houston. And there's a tape of Anderson coming in the game against Houston, and I think I caught his first touchdown pass. We both think it was his first touchdown pass, but I'm not sure. But he was the Bengals' first franchise quarterback. That's the best way to put it.
You go on to have a great career. In 1977, you retire. You own all the records naturally for a tight end, and many of those you still own now. Why did you hang them up?
Why did I hang them up? 2 years previous, I was approached by a radio station in Cincinnati about possibly doing be a guest on a radio show. Now, I had heard while in the off season in Los Angeles, Bill Russell, the All-Pro Hall of Fame center for the Boston Celtics, doing a sports talk radio show in Los Angeles. And I didn't really pay a lot of attention to him, but it certainly sounded like he was having fun. So when that radio station approached me, it was WCKY, and at the time WCKY played elevator music during the day, and in the evening they had on Monday night they had NFL football with Jack Buck and Hank Stram. They wanted to do a sports talk show an hour before that Monday night broadcast. Would I be interested? Yes, was my answer. And I fell in love with it. So that's 75, that's 76. No, that's 75. 70, I play 76. I'm told by Paul Brown and the Bengals that doing that radio show is a violation of my contract, and I can't do it in 1976. So I didn't. 1977, the season starts, and we're fine. We're in good shape. I'm fine. I'm in good shape. And I was really upset that they wouldn't allow me, because Paul Brown had always said, this is a springboard. Playing in the NFL is a springboard. You're going to go on to something else. Use this as a springboard. Well, I was using the NFL as a springboard. I loved doing the sports talk show. So I told him in 1977, I'm doing it whether you like it or not. and they didn't like it. So I retired to begin a broadcast career. Simple as that.
Why do I feel like Trump, and I mean, this is one of those things when you're a kid, we all have memories as a kid and doing one thing or another. I remember when my dad got the job with the Reds in '74, and you'll remember this down in Tampa. This was a day and age where all of the players stayed at the same hotel. They didn't get some
Bill
big,
Watson's
huge house. At
International
the
Inn.
International Inn is where everybody stayed. And you and your producer, longtime producer, Doug Kidd, why do I remember you doing a talk show down there? I swore this had to be the 70s, and yet you really never started at WLW anyway until 1980, if I'm not mistaken, on a regular basis with
correct.
WLW. So where am I getting my wires crossed here? Because I vividly remember, in fact, one show you had Pete Rose, Johnny Bench, and in the same show, Art Schleister was down there doing something or another, if I remember right.
Yeah, no, that didn't happen. WCKY had no sports except the Monday Night Football. When I moved to WLW down the street, they had UC football, basketball, the Reds, and the Bengals. And they told me I had to go to Florida.
Okay.
You're going to cover the Reds at training camp. Fine with me, no problem whatsoever. And it was not in the 70s. It was in the early 80s. And yes, we had a lot of people sitting around that table around the pool at Bill Watson's International Inn. Who could forget Bill Watson's International Inn? No breakfast this morning, people. We had another fire in the kitchen. Bernie Stowe told me one time that he put a case of beer underneath a bed in the room where he was staying. He came back the next year, and the case of beer was still underneath the bed.
Hey, the years with NBC, and look, I mean, when you become the number one announce team, and you're working for with one of my, Bob Costas with your partner for a while. I would love Bob Costas, and then Dick Enberg, who is my favorite all-time play-by-play guy. You're the number one team of the NFL. You had to be – were you pinching yourself more when you were playing in the NFL, or were you pinching yourself more as the number one broadcast team of the NFL?
Geez, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. The people I work with, including Enberg, Marv Albert was the first one, Jay Randolph, Don Crickey, Dave Sims, Joel Myers, Costas, Tom Hammond. I mean, the list goes on and on and on.
Yep.
But the thing I remember about it, Tommy, is that Ken Fouts, I mentioned him earlier, used to work at Channel 5 in Cincinnati. I get a call one day from him after I'm at WLW doing the radio show, and he says, "How'd you like to do an audition tape for NBC?" "Love to." Okay, we go to the basement of Channel 5, which at that time was at 9th and Elm, and he went along as the play-by-play guy. Didn't know what he was doing, but he was just leading me in the right direction, and I was the color guy. He sends the tape in with a recommendation that NBC hire me. And the first year I had a contract to do 3 games, did 6. Season ends, hoping for the best. Next year, contract to do 6 games, did 9. Did 9 the next year. Following year, full contract, full season. And I think my first full season was with Sam Nover, a guy out of Pittsburgh. So as far as pinching yourself, no, it was a goal I had, aided by Ken Fouts, and obviously his opinion carried a whole bunch for the people in New York. People in New York had no idea who I was. and and so 2 years into my broadcasting career, I'm moving up, and we didn't think. I didn't think in terms of what uh, what broadcast team I'm on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I was reminded every weekend of the percentage of the country that our particular game is getting. That that's the way they judge where you are. And we kept Sam Nover and I kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger games, and then I moved to Costas, and Costas was kind of new to the to NBC from KMOX in St. Louis, and then it kept moving up and up. So as long as you're advancing, you're feeling comfortable, and I kept advancing until finally with Enberg. Did I got to mention Don Crickey too, you know?
Yeah, oh, yeah. Matter of fact, I was just emailing him back and forth, believe it or not, Bob, 2 days ago with Don Crickey. I had asked him about, I found him. I found him through a common friend. I reached out to him. This is 3 days ago. And I had asked him about coming on the show because when I was a kid and my dad was working in the ABA, Costas was an announcer in the ABA back in those days in St. Louis. My dad's in Virginia. Don Crickey is like the guy for NBC basketball, and they'd cover the ABA finals. And I just remember what an extraordinary talent he was. And I had asked him about coming on the show. He says he does no interviews with anybody at any time. He won't do them.
Huh.
All right. No problem.
Crickey and I, maybe the most unique pair of broadcasters in the history of the NFL in a very select category. In 1986 and 87, NBC got the rights to the Monday night radio game that was broadcast by Jack Buck and Hank Stram. NBC got that contract. Don Crickey and I were awarded that Monday night broadcast. We also did a full schedule of television games. So no matter where the game was on Monday night, they would give us a game that we could make plane connections to the right city. The longest one we had was somebody playing Atlanta on Sunday at 1 o'clock. And the Monday night game was Seattle. Now, in the 2 years that Don Crickey and I did that, one, we never missed a plane. I was the mule. I would carry all the baggage. And this is before security at airports. Crickey would get out of our town car running to the gate, hand in the air, 2 first-class tickets. Don't leave. 2 full-fare first-class tickets. And I'm dragging all this stuff around. We never missed a plane in the 2-year period. We did games from the NFL Hall of Fame game all the way to the Pro Bowl on television and radio. About 5 years after that, I'm in New York working with somebody else. The NFL meetings, Crickey says, why don't you come over and have dinner? You'd love to see Molly and the kids. Sure, absolutely. He lives in Essex Fells, New Jersey, which is right across the river from New York. I go in the house, first time I'd been in their house. And on the wall is I can't tell you the dimensions, maybe a 3-foot by 4-foot picture frame. In that picture frame are all of the credentials that Don Crickey got in that 2-year period. And I said to Molly, why did you do this? And she said, I don't know, but Don was gone so much, I just wanted to keep track of where it was, and he always brought back the credentials. Tommy, in that 2-year period, Don Crickey and I did 94 events. Television and radio. Think about that. 94
That's
events.
unbelievable. Yep.
Yeah, in 2 seasons and never missed a plane. Well,
Good
what
luck
were we
on that in
talking
this
about?
day and age. Good luck on that in this day and age if you had to pull that off. All right, look, before I let you go here, and I could sit here and have this conversation, I mean, because your career, and we haven't even gotten to so much of it, but I want to ask you about the Bengals Ring of Honor. You're up this year, and, I guess it's season ticket holders and suite holders that are ones that vote. Are you paying attention to it? Is it something that more than do you pay attention to it? I mean, how important is it to you, if at all?
No. The fact that I'm one of the, I think, 13 guys, or what was it, 17 guys or 20 guys, considered one of the more important guys, that's fine with me. I have absolutely no problems with being in or out. I've celebrated everybody that's been in it. I understand that there's a shrinking audience out there.
Yeah.
That saw what I did from 1968 to 77. That was in the last century, and sure. I think there should be somebody in there from the original class of the Cincinnati Bengals, and I think I'm the only nominee. So at some point, somebody's going to say, maybe in 2028, what is that, 70 years since the beginning? The name Trumpy might come up. I'm very comfortable with where I am, what I've accomplished, and who thinks what of what I've done. It doesn't bother me in the least. But sure, it'd be nice. I don't wear a suit anymore.
Last thing I want to ask you. I hope you get in, and I've said all along, it's not even debatable who the greatest tight end in the history of the franchise is, and right there is the beginning and end of it. Not even if I didn't know you, that's the beginning and end of it for me. There was a time where you were highly critical of this franchise when you were doing local sports talk.
Yes.
Are you amazed at where this franchise is now? Not only Burrow and the players and the whole 9 yards, but the fact that Mike is opening up the purse strings, that they're doing things they've never done before. Are you in shock after not doing that really for the first 47 years of the history of the franchise, right?
Yes. Flabbergasted. I was mad in 1978. Paul Brown was already retired. They hired Bill Johnson as the head coach. I thought Tiger was a wonderful assistant. Ken Anderson breaks his hand in a preseason game in Milwaukee playing Green Bay. I was doing the game. I don't remember who the play-by-play guy was. Anyway, they fire Bill Johnson. Well, I had heard from inside the franchise, from players, from other people, how Paul was just browbeating Bill Johnson something unmercifully. And that's what Paul Brown accused Art Modell of doing in Cleveland. And I, at the time, was working at WCKY. And actually, I'm sitting at a place called having an iced tea in a bar at Barleycorns, downtown Barleycorns.
Yep.
And breaking news, Bill Johnson fired. I was very upset. He didn't deserve that. Ken Anderson breaking his hand is the reason they started 0-8. But they fired him. I went back to the radio station and I wrote an editorial, the first one I'd ever written. And I was going to be on the air that night, and it was a scathing indictment of Paul Brown and what he was doing and how he was doing it. And I took it into Phil McDonald, who was the station manager, and I said, I don't know if I should do this tonight. I mean, I'm a year removed from drawing checks from those people. And Phil McDonald said to me, well, tonight we find out if you're an ex-Bengal or a future broadcaster. Bam, magic phrase. I went on the air, read the editorial, and I promised myself when I started doing that, I was not going to be a sniper. That is, say something and then never confront the person you're talking about, or write something and then hide out. The next day I went to practice, and I was standing on the side of the practice field between the building at Spinney Field and the field, and Paul Brown walked out. And I think Homer Rice's practice was about an hour and 35 minutes long, and Paul Brown reamed my butt for an hour and 34 minutes. And then as practice ended, he walked in. Bo Harris, a linebacker on the team, as he was walking by me, he said, you realize you ruined practice. And I said, what are you talking about, ruining practice? And he said, everybody was paying attention to Paul Brown and his finger in your face. And he said, we kept track. Paul won the gesture battle 100-1. And I went down there the rest of the week. I was there every day at practice. And strangely, Paul never came out of the building for the rest of the week. But you have to make decisions at some point in your career, and that was a decision I made. I was happy with it. I was more than willing to defend it. And the more he yelled and screamed at me, and the more I realized I was right. So the change in this franchise, from somebody who was there in 1968 and had to buy our own gum, you hear me? Mm-hmm. Buy our own gum, to 2023, yes, it's been quite a change. And I have to credit Katie, Troy, the Blackburns, the granddaughters, just as my grandkids, when they show up, they call me Bob. That's the nickname my first grandson gave me, and it's stuck. I'm Bob. And when I have a problem with my phone or my computer, my grandkids fix it in an instant. So I think that Mike's grandkids are making him feel the same way I do at times. Stupid. What? I didn't know that. What? We should do that? What? I mean, yeah, it's changed, and it's all for the better to this point.
There's no doubt about it. Bob, I can't thank you enough for being so generous.
My
with
pleasure.
your time.
Anytime, Tommy.
It is. I love to have you back when the season starts and gets going, because I know you watch the games and you're still so on it and with it and knowing what's going on in football. So if you have the time, we'd love to have you back again. Yeah,
now that I know how to get everything hooked up.
You're all set. You surprised me today, Trump. I got to be honest with you.
No.
One of your grandkids must be sitting in the other room. They're the ones that got out, I think. All right. Trump, good to see you, man.
Thanks, pal.
All right, buddy. Bob Trump.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Hopefully he is in the Bengals Ring of Honor when all is said and done. How about that career for that guy? See, you guys are too young to remember this guy.
I didn't even know about him until the Ring of Honor came out this year. And then I was looking at the stats for all the old guys. And
then he was your number one
amazing.
vote.
And I voted for it.
I tell you, I wish we'd had even more time because, and I know we went a long time, went nearly an hour, because his stories, that was just one of I don't know how many stories that Trumpy had when he went head-to-head with Paul Brown. Those are two very stubborn, headstrong men. And neither was going to ever back down. And the same thing with Mike Brown. Trumpy was incredibly critical of the organization, rightfully so, during different periods of time when the team wasn't any good and the way they were doing business and the way they were running the team. And you just heard it. Everybody agrees and everybody around here knows it. Katie, as sharp as they come. Troy, her husband, sharp as they come. Now their kids, more prominent roles in the franchise, and credit to Mike, the ability to start letting them do what they think is the best thing to do, and now reaping the fruits of the labor. Quick timeout. Ham and Eggers. Tracy Jones is coming up next. This is Off the Bench, presented by United Dairy Farmers. Mr. President, the stage belongs to you.
It's that time of the show, the Ham and Eggers. These guys are great, trust me, I would know. I introduce all the best segments.
Tracy Jones is in here right now. I think Tracy, I don't want to bring Tracy. I feel it feels weird for me.
Let's just intro.
Tracy Jones, how you doing today? How's everything going?
I'm doing great. I like that little segment. What happened to it?
What segment?
Well, didn't you do the Ham and Eggers segment with Donald Trump?
Well, yeah, but we always do the ads and everything. But with that, this was our second Ham and Eggers today. You're already sitting in here. We didn't want to be impolite. We figured we'd bring you in and say hi.
No, that's not. I was enjoying the show. I was enjoying Bob Trumpy. He was great on sports talk. He was the best. He really was. He said that I was the second best interview. Not to bring it on to me, because I have a tendency to do that. He said it was the second best interview he's ever had. The first, Pete Rose. Second, Tracy Jones. Just thought I'd throw that. I know Tom doesn't know that information, and thought you'd enjoy that.
What do you think Tom's going to say when you come back and you lay that one on him, Tracy?
I don't know, but hey, listen, if we can do, before Tom comes back, I'd really like you guys to do me a favor. I really don't want to talk about my 37 hits in my first 100 at-bats that set the record for Cincinnati Reds players, 100 at-bats. I don't want to talk about that anymore, all right? I know you guys like to bring it up. Casey does.
I was never going to bring that up. In fact, I had that at the very bottom of my list, the fact that you had 37. Well, was it, Tracy, 37 hits and how many at-bats?
37 hits and 100 at-bats, and I actually have someone digging in. They actually think could be the first 200 at-bats. Hey, on a serious note, I'm going to throw this at you. You know, we have a real good chance of going to the World Series. I think this is a special team, and I can say we because once a Red, always a Red, right? They just need one pitcher. They need a start. Well, actually, they need two pitchers. They need a relief pitcher, and they need a starting pitcher. And I have the starting pitcher for you. I want to wait for Tom because this is breaking news.
Okay. All right. So, Tracy, before Tom gets back, I want to ask you a question. When you say World Series, how seriously do you believe that this team, as constructed as they are right now, adding in your pitcher that you're going to give to Tom, what makes you say that right now? Because you said on Tuesday you feel like this team could win this division going away.
I do. And you see what's happening. They're actually, winning this division going away. I just think something really special is happening. I just watch them play, and you expect them to win. You know something's going to happen, right? It's like the ball game yesterday. They were behind. They come back. They battle. They get big hits. I just like what they're all about. I think David Bell, nobody's talked about David Bell, what a great job he's done. I know people have criticized him in the past, but that team was constructed to be a scrappy team. I said this the last time I was on. I called them, dirt bags. And dirt bags is a compliment for baseball players. A dirt bag is someone like a Ryan Freo, a Pete Rose, a Tracy Jones, a Chris Sabo, myself. Those guys that will get their uniform dirty, go out there and battle. And that's what you have 25-man roster of a bunch of dirtbags. And I mean that as a compliment. They are a lot of fun to watch. They play extremely hard. They run the bases. They hit the cutoff man. They make the plays. I just think they're on a roll. I really do. But they will lose a game sometime the rest of the year. I guarantee you that.
Tracy, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
How you doing? I'm doing great. And here's the deal.
You look good. I mean, you got a little life about you today, although you obviously lost your razor, but you have a little life about you today.
Here's the deal. Let's forget about looks. One of these days, I'm actually going to dress up with a shirt and tie and blow your mind. No hat.
No. We don't want that. We don't want that.
Okay. Listen. And I was telling the Ham and Eggers this when you were off Where do you go? Where do you go, Tom?
I go to the bathroom. I mean, when you get to be my age, I don't know if this happens to you. When you got to go and all of a sudden, you don't even see it coming. It's like a train. I mean, you just got to sprint out of the room.
Yeah.
Maybe that hasn't happened to you yet. It happens to me. I mean, we're roughly the same age. It happens to me.
No, I'm good to go. I'm a Major League Baseball player. I only go once a day. Okay, here's the deal. And I brought some notes here.
Okay.
I really think this team, if it adds a starting pitcher and a reliever, they could get to the World Series. I don't know if you guys saw the playoffs. If the playoffs were to happen today, did you see this? The Reds would be playing the Dodgers. The Reds would be playing the Dodgers. The winner of that series plays the Diamondbacks. Okay? The other one is Miami against the Giants. The winner of that plays the Braves. So there's a real chance, this is a precursor, this weekend series, of the Reds playing against the Braves. I think they're really good. And I want to tell you the pitcher that I think the Reds should add. You said Shane Bieber last time, right?
Shane Bieber, yep.
Shane Bieber.
Yep.
Good pitcher.
Yep.
But the cost is extreme. And I know people, this is really going to stir the chat room because it's kind of controversial. And I brought some notes. Let me give you some notes because I worked hard. I bring notes. Not like Amanda Brenneman's husband. I actually prepare for the show. Okay, here we go. You ready for this? Ready for these numbers? Now, these are serious numbers. June 3rd, this guy pitches 8 innings, 3 hits, 1 run. Good outing, right?
Yep.
Next outing, June 9th, 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs. Next outing, June 14th, 9 innings, 3 hits, 1 run. Does anybody want to guess who this pitcher is?
I have a feeling I know who you're talking about. And I have a feeling he is not pitching on this continent. Am I right about that?
You got it. And I tell you, let's think outside the box. You're smiling. Do you like that idea? I'm sure you could buy out that contract with the Japanese, don't you think? And get Trevor Bauer.
For those of you that don't know, we're talking about
Trevor Bauer.
Right.
And he's a pretty darn good pitcher. He was never charged with a crime, right? I think he got railroaded, in my opinion. He had a rough start in Japan and was sent down to the minors. But, Tom, he's dealing. Think about how cheap that would come to get a guy like Trevor Bauer.
Here's the thing, Tracy. Here's the thing. And look, I know you never bought into this noise because you know who Votto is. Those of us who know Votto, nobody bought into this noise that he was going to – I can't even believe anybody would even bring this up. But, I mean, look, people, it's their job to bring stuff up. That's fine. That he would disrupt the team chemistry. Now, I think they were legitimate questions about – was he going to take at-bats from guys who were playing really well? Would he take, a position of Steer, who's played so well, arguably their best player so far this year from the beginning of the season until now? But he was never going to disrupt the team chemistry. I really do think it's an extremely viable question to ask whether Bauer, because, look, if he is signed, Tracy, can you imagine what a press conference would look like if Trevor Bauer was signed tonight and the press conference is Monday when the team goes on the road and they're in Baltimore, D.C. press, New York press, national press, every major television outlet in the world is going to be there for something like that because of Bauer and his story. And that is going to go with the team, as you well know, because you were around for the Pete Rose thing, right?
Yeah.
It's going to travel with the team every city you go to. So if it's the first game of a series in Baltimore, here they all come out of the woodwork, right? 3 days later, first game of a series in Pittsburgh. Here they come again. Now L.A., here they come again. It just doesn't stop. I wonder would his signing cause a disruption in that clubhouse?
It could. You're rolling the dice there. And what I've heard about Trevor Bauer is, one, in the clubhouse, and I'm not going to BS about this, not a very good guy. I've heard that. And you've heard that too, right?
Yep.
But as far as a big game pitcher, and you want a guy out on the mound, He's about as good as you get. Can you imagine the Reds signing? Can you imagine the interest in the Cincinnati Reds, right? America's team, if you go out and give Trevor Bauer. And I think everyone deserves a second chance. Don't you think, Tom? Don't you think you're about time to be given?
I got to be honest with you. I think, and I don't know if there's anything to it. You mentioned the last time it never got to trial. Okay?
No.
And the guy was never proven guilty of anything. And I'm not suggesting for a second that he's not guilty of everything. I don't know. But as we define justice in this country, he was never prosecuted and found guilty of all the things talked. I think that there would be some teams, I don't know if the Reds are one of them, that would consider Trevor Bauer. Up until last week, were now 4 other women, and who knows what their story is. I have no idea, right? I'm sure that, there's the old your side, my side, and the truth and all this. I think if that's not a story that all of a sudden now surfaces in the last week and a half, I think there are teams that might be sitting around having that discussion. I don't know about now. What do you think?
Well, I mean, you bring up great points, and I know those points. You're definitely rolling the dice. But can you imagine Trevor Bauer being signed, and he gets things going, and he's pitching like those numbers?
Yep.
Can you imagine it? And then you end up in the World Series. I mean, people will forget about stuff if you're winning. Now, if you start losing, and that could be an issue. But I think it's worth looking at. And I throw a lot of things out just because I like to throw things out, a little controversy. But I think this is a legitimate point, Tom. Don't you agree?
You know what? I really, really do. I think that there is a look, the sexual assault allegation stuff is serious business, man. And anybody who's ever had a daughter, I mean, it is serious business. And look, because of certain laws out there, and this is where the NFL is I mean, they're like on a whole different level.
Right.
I don't know what baseball, what their quote-unquote firepower, for lack of a better term. But here's the point I'm getting to. Yeah. If there was an NFL team that was thinking about signing Trevor Bauer, there's an assembly line of investigators that the NFL has access to, where when they want to get to the bottom of something and find out everything they can about everything, whether it's a situation, whether it's a person, whatever it might be, their investigative powers are second to none. I would argue, because of law limitations, better in many ways than the FBI. I wonder if the Reds would even consider assembling a group like that to dive deeper into this whole thing about Bauer.
You know who used to dive into players before he made a trade, and you make a really good point once again, is Jim Bowden. Remember, he used to have like a 50-page dossier, and he would get a rundown of that player and dig into his personal life, right? So you really knew what you were getting. I'm not saying Trevor Bauer's a good guy. I'm not. He's doing some kinky stuff, I'm sure, whatever he's doing. But I would like to see a guy. I just would like to see it. I think the energy. I think he's a really good pitcher. And as far as the NFL, you think Trevor Bauer, his behavior worse, or Deshaun Watson?
There's no doubt about that one.
Which one you like?
Well, there's no doubt. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
One's playing and the other one's not. And the one had to pay off every single one of them.
Right.
Everyone. They didn't go to court, but he had to pay off every single one of them. Here's another guy I want to ask you about. Came up in the chat. We talked about it before. I don't think it would cost you much to get him, and I would do it yesterday as bring back Chapman. He's already said he doesn't have to be the closer. I never found Chapman in any form or fashion to be and I was around announcing the games when he was here. First came up all the way through his entire time here. Chapman doesn't bother anybody. He's kind of like in his own world, you know? I mean, and look, I think you would agree with me on this. There is and I hate to throw, I say this a lot, a blanket over a group of people. But there is something extraordinarily unique about the Cuban players compared to any of the other Latin American country players. The Cuban players were raised in an entirely different world and environment. They are all, by and large, not every one of them, but they keep things very close to the best. They really keep to themselves a lot. It's not to say they can't mix in with their teammates. Chapman did his own thing, man, and he never bothered anybody. And all he wanted was the ball, and he was the best closer. It may not be statistically, but he was the best closer the Reds have ever had. I would bring him back in a heartbeat to help this team try and win.
I kind of feel like Chapman, I don't know him personally. I just feel like we have a couple things in common. One, he likes fast cars. Remember when he had that Ferrari? And he likes strippers. So those two things we have in common. We talked about getting a starting pitcher. They also need a relief pitcher.
Yeah.
I mean, Diaz is just going to get burned out. They need to add to that bullpen. But I'm dead serious. If they get those two, a starting pitcher, a good one now, and a reliever like Chapman, I think they're ready to rock and roll. I think they're playing the Braves for the championship. I really, really do.
Well, I mean, you bring up a point that you and I discussed a little bit, short albeit, is that if you found a way to get another pitcher, and I mean a good pitcher, I don't mean
good
some,
one.
Middle of the road. And I tell you the one guy that's kind of piqued my interest a little bit. I always thought the Reds misused the guy, but he is really pitching well in Detroit. Is Michael Lorenzen, another guy, right? Original Red, great dude in the clubhouse.
Great
great.
He's the
dude.
best.
He really is. He's one of my all-time favorite Reds as a guy. I thought they grossly misused him when he was here.
Mm-hmm.
He should have been a starter from day one and left him alone for his career. But they had him in a bullpen, and then they put him in a rotation in a bullpen, And look, we can debate that from now till the end of time. But even if it's not Bauer, if you add Lorenzen and Abbott and Hunter Green, okay, I'm not going to count Lodolo. To me, he's off the reservation. Maybe he comes back, and if he does, good for him.
Yeah.
But if you've got those three going to the post, I don't look at the Reds being an underdog in a best of 5 or best of 7 against anybody. I don't.
Well, I don't either. And what I like about the Reds, it's going to come down. It's not going to be a 10-9 game. It's going to be one of the. I hope the weather gets really cold so we can use that stolen bases. Going first to third, stealing second, stealing third, because a lot of those guys can run. I just feel, I'm actually going to my first game in 15 years, Sunday. I was hoping to see Strider pitch, but I think he got bumped because of the rain out.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going. Now, I went to a lot of games and sat in the booth with Marty and kind of helped him with the broadcast, make sure he had inflection in his voice, enthusiasm, quit criticizing Adam Dunn, that kind of stuff. I would kind of point him in the direction. But I'm actually going to sit in the stands. My buddy invited me. Of course, we're sitting in the diamond seats. He's got FU money. So I'm excited about that. So it's going to be a new experience because it won't be that bad because I'll be sitting with a lot of like minds. in the diamond seats. And if you ever notice this, on Sundays, the FQI, the fan quality index, is a lot higher, right? Because we like tonight, like Friday, a lot of ham and eggers, the FQI is down, you have the fireworks. Or like when you have a bobblehead, the FQI is down. So I'm very excited to go to the game. But here's the problem. You guys ready for this? Sitting in the diamond seats, he asked me if it was all right if he could bring his granddaughter. Do you know how old his granddaughter is?
7.
3. Really? Who brings a kid that's 3 years old to a Major League Baseball game?
What in the world is wrong with that?
Oh, Tom, come on. She's going to go to that buffet. She's going to be.
You don't have to worry about it. That's his problem. That's not your problem.
She's going to be one. First of all,
I don't even call it a problem. I'm sure he's thrilled to death thinking about bringing his granddaughter to a game.
3 years old. People will agree with me. That's way too young. When is she going to go to that buffet in the diamond and put her hands, greasy hands in the potato salad, right? It's just, wait at least till she's 7. My first game was when I was 6 years old maybe 5 years old, 1966, 67, when I saw Koufax pitch a one-hitter. That's what he actually had, a no-hitter going into the 8th. So that was my first game. Even my dad, who knew I was going to be a Major League Baseball player, waited till I was 5 years old to take me to a big league baseball game. 3 years old, I don't care what you say, and I love kids, but 3 years old, way too young.
Okay. All right. Well, you're going to be sitting down there, though, in the Diamond Club seat. So, these are first world problems you're talking about here. I mean, let's be honest about it, right? I got to tell you, and I've been meaning to bring this up with you as the College World Series has moved on in the NCAA tournament. It's a lot like football, Tracy. I mean, whether we're talking about football, whether we're talking about baseball, there is a common theme. You know what that common theme is?
SEC?
There's nobody from California there.
I know.
There's nobody from California. All I hear about is all these great athletes, all these elite athletes, all of this and that and everything. I'm looking at schools from Texas. I'm looking at schools from Florida. I'm looking at schools from Tennessee. I'm looking at schools from Louisiana. I'm looking at schools in football from Ohio, from Alabama, from Michigan, from Georgia. I'm looking at all these, TCU, again, Texas. I mean, you get west of the Texas border, and it's like sports don't even exist anymore. What in the hell is going on out in California?
Well, I could go back to the days when you had the Lakers and you had the Rams, you had
That's
the Dodgers.
pro sports. I'm talking about college sports.
But even college, UCLA and USC. I mean, I used to call
most of the guys, the Ham and Eggers, weren't even born when those teams were any good.
We were referred to as Title Town, just to give you something. That's what we referred to in Los Angeles. Tom, we're not getting the athletes because we have other things to do in California. I mean, you got to go to the beach, right? You might want to go to
They have beaches in Florida.
Okay, let's go to the mountains then. Let's take a 40
They have
minute
beaches in Texas.
But you don't have it all, Tom. Let's go to the Whiskey A Go-Go and watch a band. Let's go to the Wild Goose or the Jet Strip, right? I mean, they do have solid gold and cheetahs there in Houston and Atlanta. But they're just, my point is, there's a lot of other stuff to do in California, and sports is way, way down. You know what is crazy on a serious note? I'm watching UC get basketball players and football players, and I'm thinking, how can UCLA and USC not get players? I mean, would you rather be, playing in Westwood, or would you rather be, where Cincinnati's located? I mean,
I got to be honest. I mean, look, I got to be honest with you, and you know this because I've done a number of games at the LA Coliseum. That big square that is the University of Southern California is as beautiful a big square, right, as you can find in the country. It's great.
Right.
But you also know that when you cross the street outside of that big square, you're walking into South Central LA. But, look, their football tradition really, in many ways, is unmatched by anybody or as good as anybody's history in America. But now UCLA is a whole different ballgame. I look at UCLA and I say to myself, how in the world are they not great at everything? Because if there's a place you'd like to hang out a little bit, it would be Westwood, California.
I think Mick Cronin's doing a pretty nice job at
he's
UCLA,
doing a great job.
isn't he?
Yep.
But it took someone from Cincinnati to do it. I mean, I'm just amazed at how in Cincinnati they've got better college programs. And I don't even throw in Xavier. I mean, it's something to be very proud of, the sports we have in the area. But in Southern California, it's just like, even the good players like from St. John Bosco and where Carson Palmer went, the quarterbacks leave. You can't even keep the guys in state. And I think it's sad.
Well, Lincoln Riley will get that straightened out, although then they're going to join the Big Ten and have to play Ohio State and Michigan and some of these teams, and we'll see how it goes once that happens. But anyway, of course, Mick Cronin wasn't good enough for us here. Wasn't good enough.
No.
Everybody in town wanted to run him out of town.
I
wish I could find all the guys now that are excited, that would raise their hand and admit they wanted Cronin out, compared to the same guys who did raise their hand and say they wanted Cronin out 5 years ago. That guy should still be here. He wanted to be
I
here.
like Mick Cronin. I mean,
Love
what
Mick
a coach.
Cronin.
He's a huge baseball fan. You know, his dad was a scout for the Braves.
Yep.
A big time scout.
Yep.
So, yeah, Mick Cronin, I'm sure. But look, where would you rather live? You know, in Cincinnati and Norwood, East Price Hill, Terrace Park, or would you rather be at UCLA living in Pacific Palisades, PV, Newport Beach, Malibu, Hawthorne? Those are some prime real estate right there. Maybe not that last one.
Yeah, nobody wants to spend any time in Malibu. I agree.
No.
All right, Tracer, have a great weekend. Enjoy the Reds game down there. I'm impressed. You're actually going to a game.
If that 3-year-old starts crying, I'm going to pick her up and just give her a couple slaps right on the behind and put her down. Tell her, because her dad's one of those libertards that will say, you know, timeout, go sit in the corner. He's one of those timeouts people. I'm not one of those. Behave, 3-year-old. Ridiculous.
Well, maybe your granddad will bring along a participation trophy just for going to the game.
Good one. Have a good weekend, boys.
All right, buddy, you do the
Go
same.
Reds.
Tracy
See you, Tracy.
Jones, kind enough to join us. How about that? Has he ever invited you to sit down in the diamond seats with him before?
No.
I've never sat in the diamond seats. It was my mission this summer to try and finagle my way into some diamond seats, and I was close one day, but no, never sat down there.
Have either one of you sat in the diamond seats?
Yeah, I did it a long time ago. Yeah, I got Adam Dunn's autograph. I was right on the front row there, and he came over. He signed my ball, and I will be going back sometime in August. My buddy Zach got me tickets for my birthday, so I will be back in the diamond seats.
Jacob, you strike me as somebody that has been in the diamond seats no less than 5 to 10 times.
Yeah, and this is
Three times.
Yeah, three times.
Yeah, I mean, he's
Okay.
a big league.
3 times.
Well, he went to St. X. They just exude wealth over
Liberally.
there. Yeah, it's
No question.
They give them out at the end of each year. They give each kid a diamond seat for at the Reds game.
The Reds keep winning like this. I might be going to diamond seats more often, thanks to Betfred Sportsbook.
Ooh. Diamond seats would be big league. Sit down there. That would be big league, I have to admit. But we have our big outing July the 17th.
July 17th.
And that's in the, used to be the old Cincinnati Bell area out there in center field, right?
Yeah, the riverboat deck out there.
Riverboat deck.
Yep.
And how many people, what are we doing for that? Are we giving away tickets? What are we doing?
There's going to be a incentive based on the merch, I
Right.
believe.
If you buy a certain amount of merchandise,
You'll
it
get a
comes
free
out
ticket.
soon.
Yeah, July 1st.
Okay.
on
Once
the
it
merch.
comes out, then if you spend X amount of dollars to be determined, then you get a ticket to come with us that night, right?
Yep.
How's the merch look? Have you seen any of it?
No previews on the merch. Say that. No previews.
Are we going to, is the game plan we here on Off the Bench, can I just throw all these shirts and leave them in the closet and leave the hangers in the closet?
Well, the hangers got to
And-
stay.
and
That's
just
part of
start
the
wearing Chatterbox merch? Is
Hangers-
that the way it's going to work?
The hangers have to stay. That's part of the brand.
Okay.
Hangers got to stay on the door.
Fair, like that jacket over there.
Yeah, that's part of the.
So is that what we're planning on doing? Are we going full time to our merch so people can see it and want to buy it?
I would assume so. I would assume we're all going to be wearing it right away.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope so. I think we ought to. I'm wondering if we ought to kind of make it a mandatory uniform for this show.
I think so.
I mean, you don't have to wear a certain color every day. Sir Boy Wonder asked me, "Am I going that night?" I'm going.
Will you be eating a Sky Rosa with Sir Boy? Do you know?
I will not have a Sky Rosa. I will have a piece of La Rosa's pizza. I will be happy, as always, to have. I might be taking my son and daughter since Polly, my wife's going out for dinner tonight with some of her friends. So that's the perfect night for our two kids and me to sneak off the skyline, not eat a healthy dinner at home. Yes, but you know, I swore that I would never set foot in that ballpark again as long as I live. But because it's Chatterbox and they've given me a chance to come back and do this show and work again for the company's sake, I am looking forward to seeing all of you down there on July the 17th. It will be my first and last appearance in that ballpark. I can assure you of that. But I'm excited about it. It's going to be fun. Casey, you going to go?
Of course.
You guys are going, right?
Absolutely.
And Reed will be going, right?
Everybody here will be there.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Sean will be there, and Trace will be there, and the whole 9 yards. All right. It's going to be perfect. Anything? Do we have a cherry on top?
We very much do. Now, before you run the intro, I got this as a DM from our guy Darren on Twitter yesterday. Every once in a while, Darren will reach out to me with a Photoshop.
Okay.
And so he reached out.
Oh, God.
He reached out to me yesterday.
What is this?
And, well, so we've been talking about, what's going to happen if the Reds keep winning, and we talked about shaving heads and everything. You said you didn't want to drink a White Claw, so run the tape, Casey. How about we get you in this look if the Reds win 15? Will you wear the Viking helmet if the Reds win 15?
Yes.
There we go.
Well, it's not just the Viking helmet.
There's
There's
the
also
cape
a
as well.
There's a
Well,
cape
we'd have to
outfit.
figure out
We
the
have,
cape.
well, you have to buy a cape.
We'd
We
have to
find
figure out
it.
the cape. But can
We'll
we
get
get
one.
The
you in
helmet.
the Viking helmet if the Reds win 15? Can we start the show on what would that be? Thursday?
That would be, no, it would
No,
be Thursday.
Tuesday.
It would be
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Do they play Monday?
Yeah, they play Monday.
Or is that an off day?
So they would play
They play Baltimore Monday in Baltimore.
in
right?
Baltimore. Yeah.
Okay. So you'd have to win 12, 13, 14 would be this weekend.
Tuesday morning.
15 would be Monday.
Yep.
So Tuesday morning, we would have to don the Viking helmet. Absolutely. No problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because it ain't going to happen.
And as far as I see Everett talking, you don't have to buy we would love you to buy the merch, but just to make sure people know, you don't have to buy the merch to go to the game.
Okay.
You
I'm glad you brought that up.
Because Trace obviously had to front the money to rent the suite or rent the deck or whatever it is, however you want to call it. So you may have to buy a ticket. I don't know how he's going to do it yet. I haven't talked to him about that. But if you buy a certain amount of merch, we'll cover your ticket is basically how that'll work. But it's not like if you don't buy $200 worth of merch, you're not going to get – that's not what we're trying to say.
Okay. Well, I'm glad. Thank you for pointing that out. And you said Drew was the one responsible for that nonsense?
The Photoshop?
Yeah.
No, that was our guy Darren on Twitter.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, because Drew Garrison says he's the one that started the Tom Photoshop trend.
Drew has done a lot. Yeah, Drew has done a lot. Darren Minton on Twitter. He's a pretty good Twitter follow for some big league content.
Okay.
On Photoshops.
Okay.
Although I don't know how much of that he actually tweets out and how much he just DMs to me, which I enjoy.
All right. So tomorrow, working on a few things. We're hoping to have Tommy G on. We'll reach out to him. We do know we're going to have tomorrow Dave O'Brien, longtime beat writer in Major League Baseball, a number of years with the Marlins, but the last decade or so with The Athletic covering the Atlanta Braves. So he'll be on to talk about the Braves. Working on a couple of other things tomorrow. So, gentlemen, no Reds baseball tonight. You guys can actually spend time in, doing something else in life.
Softball tonight, Tom.
You're playing?
Softball. Yeah, Thursday night alumni league. Softball. We're undefeated. Got to keep it going.
What position do you play?
I rotate between short and first. I like playing first. Okay. I like playing short, but I'm tall enough I play first.
Elliot, what are you doing tonight?
I will be having dinner with my grandparents.
Very nice.
So that's just it's a easy night in, nice night in.
Sky Rosa?
No, that would wreak havoc on our digestive systems.
No plans for me. I'm alone at the house tonight. My mom's playing golf, so I'm probably just going to watch a movie or something.
Well, Casey, is your mind working like mine? Two public school guys? When I hear that somebody has the house on a Thursday night and no one's around, I mean that place
It would be rocking.
Jamming. There would be chairs coming through glass by about 10 p.
That's correct, Tom.
See,
I mean, I would be getting a couple of my buddies.
Public school guys were different from than the liberal elites.
They have to plan. They have to be very meticulous. They got to make sure that they're wearing the right outfits and whatnot.
Right.
I mean, we just
buy a keg.
Yeah. Stick it
Throw
right
the
there.
dagger down on top of that bad boy.
How many more likes for me to just drop my address in the chat right now?
No.
Let's get after it.
The Discord.
Right. I mean, we got guys offering to buy the kegs, or, the whole 9 yards, among other things, which
We are.
All right.
After you said that, we jumped up like 10 likes.
What are we at?
82.
We get to 150 during Not Too Picky. I'll drop the address.
All right, Not Too Picky starting right now.
We're getting picky, Tom.
All right, here we go. Everybody have a great day, gentlemen. Thank you. We'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a great day.
From the Chatterbox Sports Studio in Hamilton, Ohio, this is Not Too Picky with Paul Fritchner.
Now that right there is the good stuff. We have not had that intro music in so long. That just gives me chills. It gets my blood moving. And everybody, this is Not Too Picky, and it is presented by Betfred Sportsbook. This is the Chat's show, and boy, did the Chat have a couple of hours this morning. Elliot.
What a spectacular day for the Chat. First of all, I didn't know, I have a little wrench by my name. I didn't know I could remove people. What a power that is.
Jacob, welcome to the show. This is Not Too
Hi, Jacob.
Picky.
Jacob, how you doing?
Casey, how are you doing today? Because, Casey's over here. I'm sitting next to Casey during the show. Also, the lighting on this is just spectacular. Casey is over here. Elliot's over here. And they are just waging war in the chat during the show. So I've heard from Elliot. I need Casey. I need you.
Honestly, it was just for the bit. There's all love over here.
Casey, I can't hear you in my ear.
That's just because I got this turned down.
Okay, now I can hear you. Now I got you.
Yeah, but it was all for the bit.
It was all for the bit.
Well, but
maybe I should go back to rehab.
Whoa! Rehab.
I mean, that's what it took to get the Chat's trust back, right?
Here's the thing, Casey. I didn't have a bit with you. I was defending your honor. They were saying, you were some kind of immoral leader over there, and I was defending you. You were my mentor, and then you removed me, and now I can't remove you. Why is that, Casey?
Well,
why do I not have the
Many
power?
are saying that you're drunk on power.
Many are saying it, and they would be correct because I didn't know I had this power. Now that I have it, I'm never going to let it go.
Is there a reason you were only taking it out on Orenthal in the chat?
Well, yeah, I think he had a tough day yesterday. I think he was due for a little bit of a suspension. No, so we're just weaning out a quick suspension. It won't happen every day like this, but unfortunately for OJ, not gonna be your day today. That's okay. We all have bad days. But Casey removed me, and now I'm trying to get back at Casey.
Are you about to ban Casey?
I can't. I don't have the power. I don't have the power.
What? Why not?
Casey won't give it to me. Casey holds the power over there in the corner.
There's a food chain here.
There is a food chain.
And I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
I got to get myself one of these wrenches, boys.
Yeah, Jacob does need a wrench.
Wait a minute. We can fix that real quick. We can do that live.
So
right
Jacob's
now.
going to get a wrench.
Jacob's about to get a wrench.
I'm going to ban like 5 people
Yeah,
right
everything's
now.
going off the rails here if Jacob gets a wrench because he's just going to throw it down and ban everybody.
If this gets 100 likes, I'll ban everybody.
No, God, no. Why would you want to do that?
do that?
I think it would be funny.
No one's watching the show because Elliot banned them all.
Hey, fellas, the Cincinnati Reds have won 11 games in a row. Your thoughts?
Yeah, that's a good talking point. I think the Reds are pretty good. I think the Reds are very, very good. And I think Jacob said it earlier. There is a significant chance we win this series. A significant chance we beat the Braves. I'm not talking sweep. I don't know if we're going to go undefeated and we're going to continue the streak, but I think we will win this series. They are down their 2 best pitchers, I believe.
So this is an Astros series all over again.
This is an Astros series. We're just holding serve here. But serve is an 11-game win streak, which is pretty spectacular.
Jacob.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to ride these vibes, I don't know how you can say anything other than we're going to win this series. I mean, the Braves are – I know the chat's killing me for being a closet Braves fan, but the Braves are a damn good team. I mean, they hit the absolute crap out of the ball 1 through 9. I mean, there's no holes in their lineup. They run around the bases just as much as we do. We get real lucky with the starting pitching. So I think we can do this.
Reed Mouse is back in the chat with his usual comment that the Chicago Cubs are playing the best baseball in the National League.
Yeah, it's just blasphemy. I don't know what Reed's doing with that. The Cubs stink. I mean, the Cubs are just horrible. Just a horrible franchise, a sad franchise. They go 115 years in between championships. It's real sad what they got going on there. I think they spent $175 million on their sad roster this year. I don't know. I think the Cubs are going to come in fourth in the division.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
4th in the division.
Yeah.
Only the Pirates worse.
Only the Pirates worse.
Because I know how you feel about
Until
that.
the end of time, the Pirates will be the worst.
The Pirates, what is their deal? Because they just sort of flounder and never really get it together and then don't do anything ever.
Yeah, first of all, they have one of the worst owners in the league. I won't shout him out, and I say that with respect. He's just bad. He's just horrible.
Brother, you don't mean any respect.
Let me.
You never does.
You never mean any respect, and that's fine.
With all due respect, the Pittsburgh Pirates organization is sad and the owner stinks. I'm sorry, and that's with all due respect. But no, I don't know what's going on with the Pirates. I think they had like that one little stretch in the early 2010s where they were kind of like, okay, this team could compete a little bit. And they had the Cueto game when they all started chanting Cueto and they rattled us. But I don't think the Pirates will ever be in contention ever.
Speaking of the Pirates, did you guys see those City Connect jerseys?
Oh, those are horrible.
Disgusting.
Those are horrible. Have you
Those
seen
things are
Casey?
cute.
Have you seen those?
No, I have not. You want me to pull them up?
Yeah, look up Pirates City Connect jerseys.
So the Cubs have won 10 of their last 12 games, and 6 of those 10 wins have come against Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Reed's over here talking like the Cubs have beat somebody.
Yeah.
They have 2 wins over Baltimore in that span, and then 2 wins over the Giants in that span.
And the Cubs also play in that juiced ballpark where the wind just blows wherever they want it to blow. They have some kind of system in Chicago that factors in the wind, and they either put it in or put it out. It's rigged. It's rigged and Wrigley. That's what they got going. That's what they got.
The basket too out there.
Yes, and the basket. And they ruined Steve Bartman's life. That's what the Cubs are known for. That and the GOAT. So I don't know what Reed's talking about, a 7-game win streak.
He points out that the Pirates were in first before they swept them twice.
The Pirates.
How is that a reflection of the NL Central?
Yeah.
It's not a good look. The AL Central is still worse than us, right? We got that going for us. I think the Twins lead the division with a losing record.
It's true.
But yeah, the Pirates are bad. The Pirates are horrible. Congratulations to the Cubs for not losing to the worst team ever.
Now,
shout out you.
Is there any worry that the Pirates get O'Neal Cruz back and get back to that version that we saw to start the season?
No chance.
When could he come back?
I think it's end of July.
Okay, no, they'll be irrelevant by then. Yeah. I didn't know his timetable at all.
I heard middle to end of July.
Okay, yeah, no, we'll see you. St. Louis though, are they gonna mess around here and win a few games eventually? Oh, okay.
Okay,
wait. Yeah, let's do this
those
first.
are
For people listening on podcast, we're looking at the Pirates City Connect jerseys. What is that?
PGH.
Yeah.
PGH. Nobody's ever used those letters.
If you're going to cut Pittsburgh down to 3 letters, I guess that's your option right there.
That's terrible.
I mean, that's the worst of all time.
And I am on the record.
At least yellow's a great color that they just went head to toe in.
Yeah, just all yellow. Just straight mustard.
So I am on the record as being somebody that is very bad at judging. I've said this before. Very, very bad at judging what the masses are going to think about a uniform.
Yeah.
I've always been on the wrong side of history of what people are going to, people will love this. And the comments just blow it up.
Yeah.
That is absolute trash.
There is no defense. The PGH might be the worst thing I've ever seen.
Now, I will say, the more and more City Connect jerseys that come out, the more and more bad City Connect jerseys there are, and the happier I am with ours.
Yeah,
we got so lucky.
People started bashing on ours kind of early. They didn't like the C. I love our City Connect. I absolutely love it. You're not a fan?
Well,
I wish
don't know jerseys, Paul.
I wish the primary color wasn't black because black just gets so hot to wear a jersey like that in the summer.
Okay, but I think
you're not playing the baseball.
Yeah, but you're not.
But I'm wearing the like a hoodie or like getting the shirts.
I love the black.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan of the like primary black outerwear. It always gets so hot.
And for those of us chubby guys, it's slimming. Shout out. But no, I think that. Like, if you look at all the City Connect jerseys, I think for the most part they've done a very good job. Whoever constructed that Pirate City Connect, they should be investigated. I mean, that is straight yellow with 3.
Well, and here's I don't mean to cut you off.
Go.
I don't mean to cut you off. But here's the thing about these jerseys. It's not like Chatterbox merch where we can talk to Trace and give him an idea and it probably gets approved, or he might just say, that's kind of trash, and then it gets thrown into the scrap heap. Do you know the amount of boxes that these jerseys have to check? The amount of emails that get sent, the amount of meetings that have to get taken, the amount of phone calls that get made because of these jerseys, and how many rungs of approval this has to pass through to eventually end up on your computer screen on a tweet?
Horrible.
And then end up on your body as a jersey?
The different tweaks that they made.
I mean, it is trash.
Bad.
What are their... I can't even picture this right now. Are the pants? What's the pants situation?
Those were the only pictures I saw.
Yeah, I think they're black though. If I saw it correctly.
Okay, all right.
They released during off the bench, so I haven't seen a whole lot.
All right. Yeah, I didn't see him on. That was the first I saw him. I didn't see him on Twitter until Casey ran that up there. Okay. So we have gone 15 minutes on this show and not given out one pick, but that's okay. Casey. You gave out, so you and I were very, very close yesterday on our parlays. I gave out a baseball parlay on the Reds game, and it was half a run away from hitting. You gave out an FC Cincinnati parlay that was also very close to hitting. The only thing you missed on was the first half tie.
Yeah, I mean, I just totally underestimated the roster. And, I mean, I knew their roster was good. I thought the 4 or 5 guys that were not in the lineup that they would maybe struggle in the first half, get like a really close win, like a 1-0, but no, it was 3-0. But what was so damning about that is that I initially had 2.5 goals on the game instead of the first half tie. And I got convinced out of it to put that in there. So it just always it is my shtick to always be one leg off.
Well, in that vein, Casey, and I've been talking to these guys about it the last couple of days. It takes a true talent to do what I've done. It takes a true talent. I am the only person in the country that has figured out a way during this Reds winning streak to lose on the Reds during this streak. I have invented ways. A couple of days ago, I took the live under. Boom, immediate Colorado Rocky 3-run homer. Yesterday, parlay. Everything hits except the game total. Alternate total that I took, because the actual total in the game was, I think, 9.5. I said, maybe 10, Andrew Abbott pitching might be a stretch. I don't know. Day game, I'll take it down to 8.5. It's a parlay. I'll take it. It's fine. Nope. Inventing ways to lose. Sirboy Wonder, I did not forget about you in your super chat. I saw it in here and wanted to wrap back to that discussion. He had a Sir Bombs parlay. Is that in the Discord? Where can I find the Sir Bomb parlay? How do I find the Sir Bomb parlay? Or is he saying he's going to create one and he's going to tweet it out? That's what I need to know.
I don't know. I don't know about Sir Boy's bomb.
I have faith in Sir Boy here.
Okay.
I mean, he's been pretty hot the last 4 or 5 days. I'm pretty sure. He's posted his results in our Discord.
He has been. Yeah, and where is the Discord link? I will post it right now. I will get it out there, Tim, and you can hop in the Discord. We talk about everything in Cincinnati sports. We kind of just keep the chat rolling through the rest of the day is what happens. So I will put that in there right now. I think all of us are in the Discord.
Yep.
I think we're all in there. The betting
fun place to be.
The betting one is a fun place to be.
The Reds one's been fun lately.
You know what's been fun is the Reds to win and then one of the NL Central teams to lose money line. You just whether you're picking the Brewers the last couple of nights.
Yes.
I know they won 2 nights ago, but yeah, the Reds parlay, Reds money line with Brewers to lose or Pirates to lose, Cardinals to lose.
It was great.
During this streak. Yeah. Sign me up.
Let me ask you again. This is a little off gambling. Cardinals. Are we ruling the Cardinals out?
I'm not.
Are you ruling? No, the Cardinals
I'm not
out?
ruling the Cardinals. Not. Well, okay, wait. Let's back up and do this. When you say ruling them out, do you mean out of the Central race?
Out of the Central race.
Yeah, because the winner of the Central's probably not going to have a wild card.
They will not.
I would imagine not. Yeah.
So if you're saying ruling them out, that means the Central race. So right now, as we sit here, it is June 22nd, 1 year away from my wedding date, actually. By the way.
Early congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
I appreciate that. Congratulations. Casey, would you like to congratulate me?
Congratulations, Paul.
That was
Thank
really
you.
delayed.
Thank you.
Why was that so delayed, Casey?
He had to think about whether he wanted to. That's fine. He had to wait. I had to wait for his endorsement. It made it all that much better.
Want it on record that Reed is the last one to congratulate you on your wedding?
Yeah, Reed has not congratulated
He's not
you.
He has not congratulated me yet.
It's a real shame.
It's yet.
Fake friend.
We'll see. Well, we'll give him some time.
Classic Cubs fan.
Right now, as we sit here on June 22nd, 1 year away from my wedding date, which I don't know if I mentioned.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congrats again.
Thank you very much, Casey.
Congrats.
Thank you, Casey. The Cardinals are 31-44. They are 9 games back in the Central.
What? Wait, what? Go ahead. Go with your thing.
Go with your thing.
No, he was the thing.
You know what this is? You know what this is? This is a teacher. This is a teacher standing up in the front of the class, and he sees the two guys in the back of the room talking, and then he says, "Hey, would you guys like to share to the whole class what you guys were talking about?" That's what's going on over here.
Jacob, go ahead.
Out of the corner of my eye.
Jacob's got it.
Jacob, go ahead.
You were going to say the date again so we could do another congratulations.
What, today's date?
Yeah, what is it?
No, the wedding date.
Oh, June 22nd.
What is that? It's
my wedding date.
Oh, congratulations.
Oh, okay, thanks. Casey.
Congrats, Paul.
Okay, thank you, Casey. The Cardinals are 31-44 right now. They're 9 games back in the Central. I'm not going to write them off, though.
You can't.
You can't.
I'm not going to write them off with that line.
Do you remember 2021 when they rattled off 17 in a row in August? And so, I think it was August, September. Do you remember that? It was right around our collapse. I think Suarez got hurt, Castellanos, Winker, everybody got hurt towards the end of 2021. And the Cardinals just never died. We were in control of that division. We could have won that division. They just didn't lose in the last 2 months of the year. So I'm not ruling them out at all. I think the Cardinals can still win this division. Their lineup, Tommy Edman, Brendan Donovan, Wilson Contreras, Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, and Nolan Gorman. Their lineup is arguably one of the best in baseball.
They quite literally can't be this bad.
They can't.
Like, it doesn't make sense.
No, it's not right. Pitching's been an issue, but I think Flaherty picks it up at some point. Mikolas and Montgomery, they're okay, right? Steven Matz hasn't been great. But I think if Wainwright comes back healthy, I don't know if he's not done for the year, right?
I don't think
so. So I think if Wainwright can get back on track a little bit here, I don't know. I think the Cardinals can make a run.
I'm less familiar with the Cardinals' contract situations just because they are more or less out of it right now.
So
if they sell, they're done.
So let me flip that question then. Which of the NL Central teams do you find most of a threat?
I don't want to validate.
Over the course of the season.
I don't want to validate someone else.
I don't want to validate
someone.
I'll validate somebody. The St. Louis Cardinals are the most dangerous. The Milwaukee? What?
It's the Cubs.
The Cubs?
It's the Cubs.
What do you mean the Cubs?
The Cubs are the biggest threat to win the Central.
The Cubs are disgusting.
What happens if
this isn't a bit? The Cubs are horrible. That's not a bit. Cubs are a bad franchise and a bad team.
Right now, the Cubs are.
What happens if
objectively
but
bad?
I didn't
Cubs
want
are
to say
so
it.
bad.
you were talking about the Cubs selling.
If they don't sell,
Yeah.
the Brewers 1 through 9.
They put in $175 million.
The Brewers 1 through 9 does not move the needle for me at all.
No, well, yeah, the Brewers are a joke. No offense to the great
If
state
the
of
Brewers
Wisconsin.
are a joke, the
but
Pirates are a joke, and the Cardinals are 10 games back.
I'm never, ever, ever, ever ruling out the Cardinals. I think the Cubs are going to tank at some point. I think their pitching is bleh. I think their lineup is major bleh. So I don't know. If you want to ride the Cubs wagon, you go ahead. I'm just saying the Cubs I don't think are nearly as competitive as the Cardinals.
I don't think
I'm saying this while the Cubs have won. How many have they beat the Pirates in a row? 10 games in a row. Congrats on beating the Pirates. They don't have any people in Pittsburgh.
The Reds are winning this division. I mean, that's just
Cardinals, great value to buy the Cardinals right now. Great value.
Wait, what are the Cardinals right now?
I think they're third.
There's because the Pirates are last. What are the Cardinals to win the NL Central right now?
I'm just mentioning the Cubs as possibly being in the hunt. Elliot's giving out the Cardinals as a bet here.
Cardinals are still plus 700, right?
Plus 600.
Plus
Cardinals
600.
Plus 600 to win the NL Central.
Where am I seeing that? Oh, it has. Okay, yes, plus 600. There it goes. It updated.
The Cubs are plus
600.
375. The Reds are plus 300. And if you want to be a loser and bet the Brewers plus 110, good luck to you.
That has to be some of the worst value in
That's the worst
all
value
of
of all
sports
time.
right now.
What?
Brewers.
Oh, to win this? Yeah. Why would you do that?
It makes no
I
sense.
guess you're a Milwaukee fan.
Well,
That's the only who would take the Brewers right now to win this division at that price? Why would you do that?
No,
you wouldn't.
No, there would be nobody. There would be nobody in their right mind who would do that. I think out of the 5 teams in there, they are right now, in my opinion, the least hot team in the division right
they're
now.
also the least fun to watch. If you're going to bet on one of these teams to win the division and try to ride someone, it's not going to be the Brewers.
Brewers are playing 2020 Reds ball where they're winning like 1-0 if they win. So it's not good. It's not good, Milwaukee. Respectfully to the city. Cheese. Milwaukee.
Beer.
Milwaukee.
Drills.
Milwaukee.
Drills?
Come on, Paul.
I think it's the
Please,
company.
Paul.
The company?
It's
The
the
company.
It's the
The
company.
company.
Milwaukee Drills. It's the company.
Paul's not blue
Don't know
guy.
it.
Paul's not blue
I'm
guy.
not a power tool guy. I'm not even gonna sit here. I'm not even gonna sit here and try and pretend.
Liberal elite.
Paul, have you
I'm
ever
not a
done?
power tool
Paul, have
guy.
you ever done manual labor?
Yes, but not with drills.
Okay, hammers. Have you used a hammer, Paul?
That's the thing that you go like this when you.
Yeah, that's
we got
well,
one
it's
right here.
close, but then you kind of motion it down. Oh, Casey's doing a demonstration. Kate, hold on. Here
Okay.
comes Casey. He's stepping over wires, doing a demonstration.
I gotta be honest.
This is a hammer.
This is a hammer.
Yeah, that's a hammer.
Paul
All
held
right,
his first hammer.
okay.
and
Chat
peanut butter
right now.
this
There's
evening.
150 people in this chat right now. If we get to 100 likes, I will hammer Paul's computer. I will hammer it into the desk for 100 likes. Casey, how many were we at? How many likes are we at?
Definitely not that close. We're
All
at
right.
90.
We're at 90. We're very close. 100 likes. 100 likes. I will go over there and hammer Paul's laptop.
I gotta be 100% honest. When Casey said, "Here, let me show you the hammer," I thought he was gonna ban me out of the chat. I thought that was that was the follow-up because that's the hammer that I know. That's the true hammer I know.
The hammer of
Don't
justice.
Drilling takes and
Casey
the ban
uses-
hammer.
Don't tempt me.
Casey uses that swift hammer of justice. Now, what could happen, guys? If you get to 100 likes, there's a chance corrupt Casey is over there, and he just says we're at 99 forever.
No, I wouldn't do that. I'll be honest. We're at 92 right now. 94.
94 likes.
It's
Who wants me to hammer Paul? I'll no, wait,
no,
wait,
no.
wait, I didn't finish. I had a breath. I had to wait. Hold on. Hammer Paul's laptop. I didn't finish it. I didn't finish it. Oh, Sean says congratulations, Paul. When's the wedding again?
June 22nd.
That's a year from today.
A year from today.
Congratulations,
Thanks,
Paul.
guys. Thank you.
Congratulations,
God,
Paul.
Thanks. Where are we going to lunch?
Oh,
Wait,
yeah.
no, hold on. We still have to give a
I have
pick.
to bet.
I'm not even giving
hold
a
on.
single pick yet.
Yeah, I have to bet. All right.
we're not too picky.
I don't see anything on the Betfred Sportsbook at this moment about to Cubs finish last in the MLB.
God, I wish you could bet
I
negative
know.
outcomes on.
Yeah, I wish that was a thing because
Exact
I would
division
hammer the
standings.
Cubs to finish last in the MLB.
In the MLB.
In the MLB, yeah, in the entire league, they'll finish worse than the Athletics, 100%. Cubs are a joke. If you're a Cubs fan, how do you wake up in the morning? How do you wake up in the morning if you're a Cubs fan, just knowing you spent $175 million to not win one of the worst divisions in baseball? Couldn't be me. And they destroyed Steve Bartman's life. Steve, if you ever want to do this show with me, I'll join you, buddy.
We're at 96
Yeah,
likes.
open
96
invite to
likes, 100 likes, and I will hammer Paul's laptop.
Tonight we have a barn burner. I guess we'll move on from that. Tonight we have a barn burner in College World Series. I don't know if people have been paying attention, but Wake Forest, LSU. LSU beat Wake Forest for the first time in Omaha last night. Paul Skeens versus Rhett Lauder, two best college pitchers in the game. Under 8 seems free.
Under 8 seems free. I like it. By the way, if you rode the Z Brazilianaire yesterday, we'll be back today. We lost yesterday. I didn't know the Guardians were putting out a rookie.
Seems like something you should.
Yeah, it does.
Check.
No. Don't worry about that.
Okay,
we don't get too picky.
That's true. I lay in the middle of the
little
road
bit.
to film a video. We don't get too picky.
This is a
Yeah,
bad.
how about that?
How about that? Can we talk about that?
I watched that Z Brazilianaire, so I had to leave yesterday early, and I watched that Z Brazilianaire, and I go, how in the world are they getting this angle?
That's
what
called
did they do?
dedication.
Yeah, and this is for anybody in the chat. You know, we work really hard on those, and that only got I think 7 likes. We're gonna need more likes on those because Jacob was laying down in traffic to get that video for 7 likes.
We filmed it like 4 times because 18-wheelers kept driving by.
Jacob has a family, and you're having him lay down in traffic for 7 likes? Not enough likes, guys. We're going to need more likes.
You can follow Not Too Picky on Twitter, but it's, well, if you just put the number in there,
Yeah.
you can find it. But the actual @ is NOTTOOPICKY.
Yeah.
Because
And that's a Paul Frischner special.
Well,
People
you know
remember
what?
that. That's really, say that one again. NOTTW. What was the other couple numbers in there?
NOTTOO.
47.
that was my Pawnee water read was what I was doing right there.
What was it?
The NOTTOOPICKY. It just rolls off the tongue.
Okay, it does.
Yeah, because the Not Too Picky with the number 2 in the middle, the account has been suspended for like 8 months, but Elon won't release the handle.
We got to get Elon on the show to talk about it.
I can't get the handle for some reason, and I don't know why, and it pisses me off.
Elon, if you're watching this, and I know you are, we just have our handle? Can we just have it? Because we're better than the other person.
Can
who
we
has
just
the
take
handle.
a second and think about what would be happening in Elon's life that would lead him to this moment to be watching this show right now?
That's a good point. I don't know. I don't know what would lead him to that. It would have to be he was watching the Red Hot Reds. That connects him to
Elon's never watched a baseball
Like,
game.
let's
in
do
his life.
5
sure he
degrees of
has, sure he
separation.
has.
5 degrees of separation from Chatterbox Sports to Elon Musk. What does that look like?
All right,
Well,
baseball.
Okay, so Tom Brenneman to someone is the easiest start.
No. Okay, let's back up. So sports, baseball, Tom Brenneman, Reds, Chatterbox.
Where's Elon?
Where does Elon Musk come in there?
I'm sure he watches something in the commercial here and there.
Am I 5 degrees of separation on phone numbers from Elon Musk?
Yes.
No.
Because you have Tom's number and Tom has someone who's less than 3 degrees of separation from Elon Musk.
You think so?
Yes.
I don't think so.
I think,
Paul,
yeah,
I
I
think,
think so.
Paul, I think you're pretty far away from Elon. And that's no disrespect, with all due respect. I just think nobody could be further away than you from Elon.
From
You
me?
think the other,
I know. I think that is an untrue statement because I think Jacob is onto something.
like I think we're all decently close.
No, I think, no.
Just because.
Elon doesn't watch sports.
Are we sure about that?
Yeah, like hands down.
All right.
He's stuck in a lab all day trying to make this
Oh.
place better.
Yeah, Drew actually brings up a good point. If we bring a Tesla in the studio, he'll watch.
Not Too Picky doesn't have Twitter Blue. He's not helping us out.
Oh, I didn't even think about it. We're not even verified.
He's not helping us out.
We didn't even buy our verification.
What if we went and got Starlink internet?
Actually, we do have we've actually bought stuff for that.
We have Starlink?
We have something that allows us to have internet wherever we go. I don't know if it's like the test version of Starlink. Trace would know more about it. I saw the package though, and he was.
We should just get a
super excited
flamethrower.
about it.
Get a Boring Company flamethrower.
Yeah,
in here.
100 likes and I'll flamethrower Paul's computer.
Not too picky would be
Yes.
so much more
What's the
fun
deal
with
with
a
my
flamethrower.
computer? My computer's fine.
Well, it's about to not be fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I just want to hammer Paul's computer.
Those wood panels behind you are begging
we're
for a
still at
flamethrower.
96, so I think he's safe.
All right, good.
How many are we at?
96 likes.
Like, there's no way I believe that. There's no way I believe Casey is over there reading the God's honest truth of our likes. There's no way. Chat, I think we're at 100 likes and Casey's not doing it.
Chatterbox.
I am.
Oh, sorry.
Cross my heart. It is at 96 right now.
Giants money line tonight.
Riding it again.
Plus 120.
All right.
Elliot, pick.
Okay, so I won't give out my full one, but one of them is going to my pick not for the Zebra Zillionaire. It's going to be the under 7.5 in Yankees Mariners. It's Domingo Yerman. Is that right?
Yeah, we'll go with
Yeah.
that.
Domingo, I think it's Yerman, your mom.
It's deeper in the throat.
Yeah, okay.
Elon.
Oh, Elon Musk.
Elon, he's in. He's in.
Elon.
Thank you, Elon. The $5 super chat from Elon Musk.
Elon.
Let's go,
1 month
Elon.
of Twitter Blue.
Yes. All right. My pick though, 7.5. It's Brian Wu, I think is the guy's name for the Mariners. Yeah, Brian Wu versus Yerman. They both are kind of
Your
bad.
mom?
Yeah, your mom. So it's gonna be Yerman, respectfully. Both their ERAs aren't good. The number 7.5 doesn't make sense. I think Vegas is trying to play with my brain. I'm gonna take the under because I think they want me to go over. Under 7.5.
Okay.
And if you listen to that, if you got through me explaining that, congratulations.
I got about halfway through. Jacob, go ahead.
Under 8. Wake Forest
Respectfully.
LSU.
Oh,
Under
that's
8.
right. All right, Giants money line. Casey, pick. Go.
Yankees.
Yankees.
Yankees lose.
Big David Ortiz fan.
Casey, why are you talking about having kids?
Mouse Cop wants to neuter me. Have you not seen that yet?
We did say Alex was a nut
the
cutter.
new fire read. Is
How did
neuter
you say
Casey,
that without
apparently.
laughing? How did you say that without Mouse Cop wants to neuter me? How did you say that sentence without laughing?
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't want to be neutered.
I want to say something. I love the Mouse Cop. I just love the Mouse Cop. Mouse Cop brings it every day without fail. Now I'm going to misspeak, of course. But Mouse Cop, I love you. I love you with all my heart. Paul, the headphones are off.
He wants that number 1 again, Mouse Cop. He's on his game.
Oh, yeah,
Elliot's on it.
I'm
You're-
on it tomorrow.
tomorrow.
I don't want to spoil, but unless something drastic happens, Mouse Cop's going to be my number 1.
I don't know that that's a spoiler. I think
I
anyone
don't
that's
think
been
that's a
here.
spoiler.
I mean, Mouse Cop, he's been singing Unwritten with me every day. Oh, we getting a wheel ready for lunch?
Arby's has to be on there.
Yeah,
we gonna
Arby's
put-
in there.
There's
If I'm going to be honest, you know what I'm going to say? Maybe I shouldn't. I'm going to say it, though.
Okay.
Mouse Cop's been great.
But?
We're putting Sonic on the wheel today.
Nick Kirby.
No.
It's going on the
We've
wheel.
done Sonic.
On the wheel.
No, what you're doing here is you're pandering to him. We've done the Sonic thing. Because you don't want to go to Sonic.
It's not going to win.
Put Sonic on there.
Oh, no.
Casey,
It's not
put
gonna
Sonic
win.
on there.
It's
Casey,
not
put
gonna
Sonic
win.
on
Oh,
there.
no.
Nick Kirby, if you're in this chat, I love you, Nick. I loved you for singing Unwritten. Thank you. And Trace, Unwritten. Unwritten, staring at the blank page before you.
Open up the dirty window. Let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find. Reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibitions. Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you. Only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips.
Let's go.
Let's go. All right. Where
Sean-
are we going here?
Sean says the Reds are losing Friday.
All right. What is the wheel? What do we got on the wheel?
We have
throw
Arby's. That's it.
throw Firehouse on here.
Firehouse would be good.
I like how we all did not collectively know that one line.
I've been trying to memorize it as Mouse Cop and I have been typing these out every day. I almost had it that time. I definitely.
If I
forgot
could have
that.
gotten through that next line, I would have had the rest of the
It
song.
was drench yourself in words unspoken.
Live your life
2
with
days.
arms wide open.
And then today is.
Today is where your book begins. The rest is still unwritten.
Oh, that was good harmonizing.
Yeah.
All right.
Are we at 100 likes to smash Paul's computer? I bet he says no.
We're at 97.
He said there's no way that's true.
Someone literally just disliked it.
Yeah, it was me. It was Paul. Paul's not liking it.
Put Firehouse on. Oh no, Firehouse is on there.
Hothead.
Everett says.
Whoa, Drew Garrison, DFA Firehouse subs.
What?
Whoa!
Why?
Drew, do you hate first responders?
What an accusation!
Wow.
Drew.
Wow.
What an accusation!
Wow.
We're gonna need the USA vet back in the chat. We're gonna need him back ASAP. ASAP.
All right.
Everett, by the way, I'm going to challenge Everett in a golf match soon, and when that happens, I'll record that because Everett thinks he's a better golfer than I. No. Untrue. Everett, I'm coming for you.
Drew.
Drew,
I love how you
okay.
just went after one of your biggest supporters.
Wait, what do we have? Is that Hannah? You should just leave one of the random names that.
All right.
Wait, what? No. We didn't even get to see what was up there.
No.
Oh, this could be a disaster. Oh, no.
What's eliminated?
Here we go.
I really wanted to go to Firehouse.
Firehouse
today.
eliminated. Here comes the wheel.
Oh, the wheel is on a tear today.
Excalibur Iron Forest. Hoobastank is very good. I love the reason. Love it. Nick Kirby, I still love you. Nick, will you sing with me one day?
We are down,
I want to sing with Nick.
We are down the two best options on this wheel right off the
OJ,
rip.
you're the villain. OJ, you're the villain.
And you didn't even put Sonic on
love
the
you, though,
list,
OJ.
Casey.
We'll make that happen.
I love you, PB.
Okay, well, there
PB,
goes
I'll
Sonic.
beat you in golf.
Hannah was Sonic.
What's eliminated now?
Oh, we're struggling here, fellas. We're in a bad spot. You put Skyline back on there? We just went there the other day.
Did we?
Oh, no. Oh, no. There goes Arby's.
I wanted my beef and Chad.
I wanted an
goes
Arby's
Arby's.
roast beast.
There goes Arby's. Wait, if we... I don't care how long this show goes. If we win on Skyline, we're respinning it because we just went there on Monday.
There, yeah.
When did you guys go?
Monday.
Oh, I was not here.
Oh, Casey wasn't here. That's right. Okay, so if Skyline wins, we're doing the whole thing over again. Nope.
Oh.
All right. Well, here we go.
I need everybody in the chat to put some options down because we're going to have to redo this.
The Burger Lounge.
Burger King's almost
No,
as bad as Sonic.
we're going to have to
Burger King is great.
Oh,
No, we're going to have
Burger
to
King is elite.
we're going to have to
That's a
redo
bad
this whole
Burger
thing.
King is great.
If it's Burger King, we're redoing it.
Burger King is great. You just
Oh, it's gonna be Burger King.
I don't know where this
No,
is
yeah,
going.
we're redoing this.
Oh, that's a nightmare.
You're going to disrespect the wheel?
That's a nightmare.
Look at all these options they're putting in
suggesting
there.
that they're gonna disrespect the wheel.
Fazoli's is awesome. Is there a Fazoli's around here though? I love Fazoli's.
I don't know if there is. We're going to have to redo that wheel because that was the most disgusting wheel.
Hold on, I don't.
Burger King
Is there a Fazoli's up here? I don't. I think they're in Florence. I don't think.
Elon Musk says La Rosa's. I guess he's a big fan of Buddy. No comment on that.
What?
That's all right.
Close personal.
Awkward silence after I
Everett's
said
coming
that.
at me. What? Burger King is horrible.
Burger King is horrible.
Burger King. The Whopper is not that bad. The
They
Whopper
just
is
don't-
not
I
bad.
want to explain
They
something to
don't
you.
know. They don't.
The Whopper
understand.
is not bad.
Burger King is to the rest of fast food as Gold Star is to Skyline.
No,
Correct.
Burger King is
That's
not
correct.
bad.
No, that's a bad
Perfect.
take.
comparison.
That's
Gold-
a bad
you could
take.
eat. You could eat a Gold Star, Burger King, anything from those menus. I'm pretty sure they use the same service there to get their food. Both horrible restaurants. And
It's
I say
the
that
third-
with love and respect to Burger King.
It's the third behind McDonald's and Wendy's. It's the third.
Yeah.
But it's. I would also be okay. Like I'm not okay when I go to Gold Star. Like I don't ever choose to go to Gold Star. I will pull into a Burger King.
I mean,
and
that's
get a
crazy.
Whopper.
Burger King is cat food.
If you're
It's got that little grilled charred flavor to it.
if you're
No,
at a
that's
Burger
yesterday's
King,
meal. They charred that from yesterday. They
No,
put it in the
it's
freezer
fine.
and gave it to you
It's
today.
fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Nick Kirby says the Burger King in his town just burned to the ground. Hopefully nobody got hurt in that.
there was no one in there.
I would go to.
It was empty.
Nobody was working. I would go to Fazoli's if there's one around here. I just don't think there's any Fazoli's around here.
If you're at a Burger King, you're no more than 5 minutes from a McDonald's. That's my issue.
If you eat Burger King, you're not 5 more minutes away from a bathroom break. Bad food at Burger King. Casey,
What are we doing here?
Casey, do you have another wheel?
Yeah, I think we got to spin the wheel again with some better options.
How many people are left in this chat? Oh, we're getting up. We're going
We
back
actually
up to
have
150.
climbed during this wheel.
If we get to 100 likes, we'll go to Sonic right now. 100 likes, we'll go to Sonic
God,
right now. We won't
no!
even spin the
Stop
wheel.
with the Sonic.
100 likes, I'm changing it.
All
We're
right.
going to Sonic if it
No,
gets
we're
to
gonna
100.
put a whole host of different options on here.
All right, just tell me what you want up there. Tell me what you
Take
want.
Burger King
Take
off.
Burger King off. Leave McAllister's because McAllister's is good.
Firehouse.
Put Firehouse back on there.
God.
Put Sonic on there.
Hothead burrito.
Put Hothead Burrito back on there. Put
McDonald's. We haven't had McDonald's on there.
Culver's is fine. Culver's is actually elite.
I like Culver's.
McDonald's.
Okay. What if we just
wait.
stop? What if we just stop? What
Well,
if we just stop?
I'm trying to see. No, we do have one loser on there. It's Sonic. But we don't have another loser on there.
Right.
All right. I'd prefer not to go to McDonald's because I'm having a burger for dinner. So I guess.
Is there another sub or
Can we
chicken,
get one more option? Just try to like.
But
Yeah,
one more
I got
good
an
option.
for you guys.
Oh, I know what you're gonna do. No.
No,
we're too hungry.
no.
You know what?
Here we go.
No.
We're
You
gonna spin.
No, Casey,
wait.
put the restaurant over
All
here.
eight up.
All eight up.
Oh yeah, that's
All
what
eight
we
up.
should do anyways. Is just go. To
We
all
actually
eight up.
should just go to all eight
All
up.
right, we might just go to all 8 up. We might just go there, guys, but we're gonna spin it anyway.
Yeah.
Put Waffle House. That's a good one. Put Waffle House. Everett says Waffle House. I want Waffle House on.
Oh yeah, Waffle House.
Waffle House would be great.
Nothing like Waffle House at 1 p.m. in Hamilton, Ohio.
All right. Spin it.
First up, eliminated.
See ya,
I
Sonic.
mean, that's-
See ya.
Sonic has been eliminated.
See ya.
The ball
You doubted
don't
me,
lie.
Paul. You
Ball
doubted
don't
me.
lie.
See
Sonic,
ya.
you're gone.
Sheets is so good.
Are you
Nick Kirby says
Sheets
Speedway.
or Wawa? Sheets or
Nick will
Wawa?
probably go to Speedway at some
I
point
grew up
today,
on
actually,
Wawa
good guess.
because it's out there. In,
Nick Mormon says Raising Canes. We just
Wawa's
went to
the
Canes
best.
last
We just
week,
went
but
to
that'll
Canes,
Be, that'll
yeah.
be soon. No lunch eliminated. We're having lunch.
That's hothead.
that's
Oh,
hot.
eliminated,
Brother,
no
it was
lunch.
on the other side of the reel.
Oh yeah, well you weren't even close.
I can't read from this corner.
Yeah, but you weren't even close.
I have
All right.
bad eyes. I'm wearing glasses, guys.
Paul's doing well right now.
Paul is eye shaming.
Trust me, my eyes are terrible. They have gone way downhill.
Trust him with all my heart.
No, stop. Stop.
Yeah, it's Firehouse.
Firehouse has been eliminated.
I wanted Firehouse so bad.
Do the police and firemen still do the softball game against each other? Is that still a thing?
I don't know.
Wasn't that a rivalry at one point?
Oh, they do the hockey game in New York.
Hockey game. Okay.
In New York.
In New York?
You guys aren't worried at all, are you? No lunch is
About
still
no
hanging
lunch?
around.
Yeah.
No lunch is hanging around.
You
but
know what? If I'm gonna be honest, I'm not worried about no lunch.
McAllister. So we have all 8 up. What's the other one?
Culver's.
and no lunch. Here we go.
You know what's funny is I'm not even going to lunch with you guys today.
Oh, it's
so-
just the three of us?
It's just
OJ, OJ, buddy, stop. What was eliminated?
No lunch.
No
All
lunch.
right. Well, we
All
have
right.
lunch.
Christmas.
So it's either Culver's or all 8 up, whatever it lands on.
Wheel is spinning. Wheel is spinning.
Looks like you're going to
All
all 8
8
up.
up.
all 8
How
up.
about that?
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Drew, my test got sent away for a week, so we'll see by this time next week. We'll see. Hopefully.
Hopefully. Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. Yeah. I don't know what the best possible outcome is, but we'll see.
Casey's not going to tell me, but I know we're at 100 likes right now. What are we at?
We're still at 96.
I mean, there's just no way that's true. I don't believe that at all. You're fudging the
You
numbers.
can come over here if you want to look.
I don't
It's
wanna look.
96 right now.
I
Oh,
don't
no,
wanna
it's at
look.
99.
Oh,
Like it. One more like. We're not leaving until we get to 100, and then we're turning off the cameras.
You know what's really funny? I haven't liked the show yet.
I mean, I have like 6 accounts I could go in if I really wanted to, but I'm gonna do it honestly. I'm gonna wait for the chat to get it. But I can't even see. You can't even see the likes anymore.
Yeah,
They
it's-
censored us.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Censorship.
Is there anything else to plug? Do we have anything left to plug in this
July
show?
17th. Save
What-
the date.
Okay. Z-Brazilianaires.
Yeah, Z Brazilianaires today. Have you
Yeah.
thought about? Do you know what you're gonna do today?
I don't have the bit yet.
Okay,
Jacob
that's fine.
and I'm sure we'll come up with something brilliant. Paul, Casey, well, we can all actually be in today's Zebra. We'll see. We'll see how we go.
I mean,
Z-Brazilianaire today.
I have
And
to
please
leave-
like them. It
I have
really
to
hurts
leave
my
right now.
feelings if you guys don't like the Z-Brazilianaire. Jacob laid in the middle of traffic for it. I'm just fighting for my guy, Jacob.
I appreciate that.
We gained a follower on Not Too Picky during the course of the show.
Thank you. One follower. That's all we need. One follower at a time.
We're at
Thank you,
257. Our immediate goal is 300. Our next goal is 1,000.
Well,
Alex Wallace says go to the top of the parking garage. I could do that.
and then
And then do what though?
Don't say it. Don't say it.
If you give your pick in the midair, it'd be fucking.
Do you think I'd eclipse 15 likes if I jumped off that building?
If you gave your pick in a free fall, you'd get 20 likes.
Welcome back to the Zebra Zillionaires.
All right,
Okay.
is that it? Into the bushes.
I think we're out of here.
We're out of here.
We've been on here for almost an hour, and
Thank you everybody for watching.
I'm
Can we
going to
do
tell
this
you
every
what.
Thursday
This is
now?
the least picky we've ever gotten.
This is
we
not a
got
lot.
it
There's only
totally.
like 5 games today though. There's only like 5, and half
Yeah.
of them start before 3 o'clock.
This is the chat's show, and somehow we
Yeah.
we went up in
Yeah.
viewers
Okay. Yeah. Can we do this every Thursday, Paul? Can we get a commitment?
on picky.
Not too picky.
We do it every Thursday.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
We just didn't do it last Thursday because
No, we did do it last Thursday.
no.
It was the week before.
Yeah, somebody was out, right?
I don't know.
I think somebody was out. And we,
I was new. That week I was very new. We didn't do it that
Oh,
week.
maybe it was that week. Yeah,
So
because it
was
used
that-
to be
Was
Tuesday.
that me then? Was I out?
Was that the week you were? Oh yeah, it was Casey's honeymoon.
Oh.
It was Casey's honeymoon. We didn't rotate seats. This was fun. This was fun. Good show today. Everybody, you know what? Clap it up. The chat had a great show today. Chat had a great show today.
Should we send
Chat
him out
had
with
a
some
great show today.
vocals?
The chat had a great
Yeah,
show
can we
today.
sing-
Should we
can
send him out
sing?
with some vocals?
Well. I was a step ahead of you.
Well, before, Paul,
Yeah.
what's today's date?
Oh, today is June 22nd, 2023.
And that is?
It is 1 year before I get married.
I just want to be the first to congratulate you, Paul.
I'd like to be the second. Congratulations, Paul.
Casey, would you like to be the third?
Congratulations, Paul.
Hey, thank you, Casey.
That's great.
I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. We tried our best.
I hope so, too.
Should I block OJ one more time for fun?
Just for fun?
Yeah, guys.
Oh,
tell-
hey, Nathan Hines congratulated me. And Tim. Thank you, guys.
Guys, tell me if
Thank
I
you.
should block. Guys, tell me if I should block OJ one more time before we leave. Oh yeah. At the blank page before you open up the dirty window.
Let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find. Reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken. Live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins, and the rest is still unwritten.